This is a How Is He podcast with Podge and Papa, proudly sponsored by Amplify. Power up your podcast. Let's kick it off.
Episode 80 sponsor show. Oh, all right, ladies and gents, strap in. Tonight, episode 80 is going to be an excellent one. It's probably sponsored by Carl Estimating. If you're a contractor, subcontractor, supplier, or manufacturer, Carl Estimating will price your job tighter than a taxman's smile.
Ooh.
Lay on, Pop. Going to try and have
You're definitely Googling these, are you, man?
No, it's called ChatGPT, my friend.
Yeah, you don't have that. You couldn't spell chat. Spell it again?
C-H-A-T, chat.
Okay, go ahead.
Fuck me, you haven't even started the intro and we're having a go at me. Check them out at carlestimating.ie and all their social channels. Welcome to episode 80 of the How Is He podcast. Joined as always by Mega Mo here beside me.
Didn't say that
co-host Paul Popadoling here in a fantastic facility that is Amplify Studios right in the heart of Carlow Town. This week we were joined by a man who started playing pitch and putt at the age of 11 in Graiguecullen. The home pitch and putt, I would say, for me anyway, it was. He then moved on to the game of golf, joined Borris Golf Club at the age of 12, and this got him hooked on the game while playing with his father. At 14, he joined Carlow Golf Club and never looked back. As he says himself, he'd done nothing else all summer, only play golf and make some great memories. When leaving school, all he wanted to do was become a golf pro, and he achieved this by serving time in Carlow Golf Club under Andy Gilbert. He took his first head pro job in Portugal, Quinta Lago Golf Club. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Quinta de Lago, Patch.
Thanks, Pop. Where he spent 2 years. He then moved back to Ireland to take a position as head pro and director of golf in Waterford Golf Club, where he spent 14 years in that role. In 2021, an opportunity came to caddy on the LPGA and LET golf tours, where he's excelled. In recent years, been on the bag for some of the best on both respective tours. He also has a media side. Every year he does on-course commentary for the Open Golf Major. He has an article in Carlow Nationalist every week. He also, along with another PGA pro, had a podcast called 3 Off the Tee, which ran over 3 years and had some massive guests. I think their first guest was Pádraig Harrington. Massive welcome to Harry Ewing. Harry, welcome on.
Pleasure. Great to be on, lads. How are we doing?
All good.
Harry, first thing I wanted to do was apologise for the time you had to spend with Papa in Augusta. That must have been hard.
That was a magic week. There's no apologies there. Yeah, we'll get into that at some stage, and we might share a few funny stories.
Yeah,
So we'll start with. How'd you go on Augusta, Papa, for a week?
How are we Nothing about that. What do you call it?
Hours.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
It's closed down.
Papa closed it.
Yeah.
Nah, it was a great week. Yeah, unreal.
Did you go over every year, Harry? Sorry.
No, I've been very lucky. I know a good friend of mine who lives in Dublin. Great story actually. He came out of the Masters lottery in the year 2000. Right. And back then, if you entered the Masters lottery on the Masters website, back then the rules were if you came out, he got 2 4-day badges: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And he thought he was only getting them for the following year's event, 2001. Yeah. But when he sussed it out and rang them and whatever, he has 2 4-day badges for life.
Wow.
And Eamon is still going strong in his early 70s, but even when he passes on, they go to his wife. So as he said, that was my winning the lottery. But he's cute enough fella. He went every second year and he kind of farmed them out to friends and family.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Losers like me, then I managed to 2009 was my first year, and I've been 6 times now maybe.
What's the first real-time viewing of Augusta like?
Sure. There's the man to ask that when he has it fresh in his memory. Pop, you answer that one. What did you think when you walked in on that?
I couldn't believe the bottom of the snake's belly on the first, how deep the fairway was that they carry.
Yeah.
How the players go down.
Yeah.
How white the sand was.
Yeah.
But the greens.
Yeah.
The contours, but how, you're looking at a putt that's 30 feet and they're hitting it 8 feet and it's going 5 foot past but doesn't go in, and you're like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's absolutely, I said it before, it's a walk amongst the clouds for a human being.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I love the little rules in that in it. I love the
and they do have rules, and it is an all boys club, but a lot of what they do is right, and it's just a magical place even to walk around. I'd say, okay, there's not too many people get there if you're not into golf.
No,
but even if you weren't, to actually walk around that place and experience it is like a place that's out of this world, really, you know? It's and I look, like I said, I've been lucky to be there because of that good contact that I have, but it never gets old, and I kind of got sucked into this thing, and so after 2009 I didn't go again until 2018, and Rory kind of should have won that one. Patrick Reed beat him on the Sunday that year, and kind of coming away from there, I kind of promised myself that we were living, I felt, in an era of this guy is an absolutely world superstar. Yes, he hasn't now won a major. Back then it was like 4 or 5 years on the spin that he hadn't. But I said I'll try and keep going until he gets this done, you know.
Yeah.
And most years since 2018, bar one, I think I've been there. And I was only saying it to John Barry the other day. John Barry's been there twice with me and you this year. Once to see Tiger Woods win in 2019 and once to see Rory McIlroy. So he has no business ever going again.
No.
He's barred from there.
Well, I always said it about him. If he fell over windy, he'd go up.
That's for certain.
Yeah, he
sure.
would.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
No, but magical place. Yeah, lucky to be there. And
I was actually talking to a lad doing the post to the Fran Maloney, and he said, "Jez, they were at the Masters, were you? Haven't seen him in months."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah." He said, "I was there one day for the practice year."
Yeah.
And he said it was roasting. I was getting a drink of water. I sat down in the grass within 2 minutes. Steward over. "Sorry, sir, the patrons don't sit down in the grass over here."
Yeah.
They don't sit down in the grass.
Yeah,
like.
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's unbelievable. But you know the coolest thing about it, Patch? We were there early on the Friday morning. We were like, let's go down to the back of the 12th. Get our seats down there. And there was 3,000 people in the queue ahead of us. 2,000 went to the shop to get the leprechauns, right? Which are like gold dust.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Jez, we get down here, got our seats down in the front row, jacket on." And I said, "Sure, they'll be robbed." No, they'll be fine.
They're not touched.
And they are, you might come up and someone will be sitting in it, but you just go, "Excuse me, sir, that's my seat." No problem, man. Up you go.
I just love the fact that they
It's
don't
brilliant.
allow any sponsors. They don't allow what broadcasters are allowed in Sky or
Yeah, they have a couple of and they've been long-standing broadcasters. Even to try and get accreditation there as media is very difficult. They like to manage it, but the best thing is no mobile phones.
Brilliant.
And like in the world that we live in now, when's the last time? The last time we would have done it is any time you're at the Masters to go in somewhere and watch live sport for 10 hours and not have any dings going on in your pocket. And
Unbelievable.
And the result of that is when you're sitting down there amongst other people who are into the sport as well and whatever, you actually start talking to people, you know.
You do, you've no choice.
Where are you from? Is it your first time coming to Augusta, whatever?
Yeah.
And it's just, it creates an unbelievable atmosphere. And then you're looking at the leaderboard over there and you're waiting for that leaderboard to turn the scores and then the crowd react to that. You don't have your phone, you've nowhere to check anything. And you know what? The world is usually still okay when you come out after 10 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
One of the biggest roars, Podge, was just not to keep going on about it, but the scoreboard, Harry. Like there's no televisions in the Podge.
Yeah, no, that's
So
what I'm
you're
saying,
looking at a lad flipping a fucking yoke like you would in a like carrying around you're on the golf course. Just like, and McIlroy literally had it done. Playing the 13, that's illegal or birdie that. Illegal or birdie the fucking 15. It's all over now. Next minute, here, McIlroy scores change and it went down to instead of having a 7. Ooh, the whole place went nuts. And then Rosie's making a move. Aberg was coming and going. And then the bogey for 17 in a row. The birdie putt on 18 was magical. And then going, "Oh, lads, he's never going to get this done." But
it's some drama.
It's brilliant.
I love it. It's the one. Do you know what I mean? There's a few sporting events that you remember, especially in your childhood. USA 94, Euro 96, but consistently Wimbledon and the Masters. Every year you'd be stuck to it.
Yeah.
No matter what.
That's brilliant.
For sure, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Anyway, it's not about you and the Masters, Papa. Come on, Harry. You started pitching ball at the age of 11.
Yeah.
Take me back.
Great memories playing that over in Graiguecullen. You played pitch and putt
Did
over
ya?
there as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how I actually got into it initially at the start because my dad played golf when he was younger, man, and then maybe when kids came along he kind of gave it up. But anyhow, I started playing pitch and putt. Remember we were living above the pub there in town, up on the bike, strapped the 2 clubs to the handlebars or to the main bar of the bike, and with your pulley straps, and off you go, you know. And I did nothing but play pitch and putt. Like, you know, I led a very simple, I suppose we all did maybe back in the 80s or whatever, but a very simple childhood of going playing pitch and putt all day, every day. And when you became half good at it, then you were actually allowed to come back in the evening time over there and come back and play with some of the adults after 7 o'clock in the evening of a summer's evening. But yeah, played that for a couple of years, got reasonable at it. I wouldn't say by any means it was the best over there, but great memories playing there and going down to Bagnallstown to play in some of these tournaments. And, you know, what do they call it? County games or, you know, area games, community games, exactly.
The Governing Cup in Graiguecullen pitch and putt was a big deal.
No,
it was a 2-day weekend event.
Yeah.
It was massive.
Yeah.
Everyone in Graig knew who the winner of the Governing Cup was.
Yeah, there you go, No, I loved it. And that, I suppose that gave me the pathway to trying to get into golf then or whatever. So like I said, the father wasn't a member in Carlow at the time. We went down to Borris primarily because he had a good pal of his on a pub in Borris. So, that was an excuse that when we go down and play a few holes, we call in to see him, and I'd sit up at the bar and have a toasted sandwich and a Coke, and the father'd have a couple of pints. But great memories, and they're the things that I suppose when you're a kid and you get into a sport. I was never hugely into kind of hurling or football. I think my hands were a bit too soft for that, But great memories of and then I suppose I just got a bit better at it, but I loved doing it. I wanted to do nothing else for my summer holidays as a teenager, only play golf,
At all times. So are you you don't land up there and you're excellent. So at all times through playing great, playing average, playing poor, at all times it didn't matter. I just want to play. I just loved playing. And I think I loved being out there. I don't even think, obviously maybe not at the pitch and putt time, you were playing loops of 18 holes in 45 minutes, so you were practicing by playing, and even as a junior, probably only when I came 15 or 16 that you actually realised that you could actually put some proper dedicated work into this game to get better. But and I think still to this day, any kids that want to start playing golf, just go and play. Do you know what I mean? And you find your own way, you grip it your own way. I had clubs that were way too long and way too heavy for me. That was the way it was back in the day. You know what I mean? Yeah, your clubs that are 1 inch short. Don't worry about it, Podge. You'll be all right. I wouldn't drive a ball with a frying pan. No, that's
but isn't it some standard short game in the game of golf, Harry?
Oh yeah, no, it is absolutely. Yeah, well, I don't know what happened to me now over the years, but I know it is.
I think that's the actual one thing that I'm quite good at. Like being a fringe or I know you're making that face.
We need to go out and have a game sometime because
little Spanish hands pop in around 5 or 10. Do you know what I mean?
Or
on the
Spanish.
fringe. He's good at them. Love to go and play a game. Absolutely, 100%.
No, I tell you, he's a passion for it, and he just has no patience. But he plays twice a year. Have a little bit of patience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a fact.
Yeah. It's all about setting your expectations.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm going to join the club next year.
Cool, man.
Magnus Pitcher Book Club. Give me that eureka moment where you're like, this is my thing now and I'm going to do this as my job.
Good question. I don't know. Maybe when I was like 16 or 17 and starting to kind of fly down in handicap a little bit, started to get to know the lads that were in as assistant pros in the golf club because I was spending so much time there. You start looking up to those guys and realise, what are you doing or what are you doing? And they were helping out maybe with teaching kids or coaching. And because even back then, like, we're still talking like early to mid 90s, like, the world was a different place. It was probably a lot simpler. We didn't have all this social media.
Ago, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a long time ago now. But I suppose for me, like, I was never brilliant in school. Like, school was not for me. I knew, like, literally that last year in school, I had no intention of going to college. None. Yeah. And I really didn't have the interest. You look back on it now, I didn't apply myself well enough in school, no way, like, so it wasn't for me. Now, you'd maybe love to go back 10 years later and do your leaving cert, and you might have had the maturity to do a bit. We can all say that. But I suppose the passion that I had for the game and the interest, I probably knew even at 18, while I was quite handy, that I was never going to really play it full-time professionally on a tour, right?
Jeez, that's very mature thinking for 18 years of age.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're not going around and winning championships in Ireland or I was good, but I wasn't that good. You know what I mean? But I could see, and I suppose it's the environment that you're in. Like I said, I could see the pro shop there. I could see the likes of Mark O'Boyle, Peter Jones, who were the kind of local lads that had done their apprenticeship in front of me, and there was an opportunity maybe to go down that road. And the minute I sniffed that, that's all I wanted to do.
Was there a queue for that?
Not really. I think I happened to be good timing at the end. Peter was maybe finishing up his last year, and I went in and kind of did 6 months still as an amateur just before I kind of signed the papers to start my apprenticeship. So the timing was kind of right. Andy Gilbert was looking for a new recruit out there. It's not a glamorous lifestyle as an assistant pro, You work hard 6 days a week and you're there to do a bit of everything or whatever, but you learn the tools of the trade. And back then it was like learning how to re-grip clubs and deal with the members and sell a bit of merchandise and stuff and equipment out of the shop. It was on a small scale, but in the background, while you were doing all your work on site, you were still studying and doing the exams through the University of Birmingham.
What's the length of an apprenticeship for a...
Yeah, pretty much 4 years.
Is it the same as that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
College?
And they've gone on in in the, as you said, 25 years since I qualified now, it's more recognised. They've added more kind of strings to the bow now that you can kind of focus particularly on maybe coaching or focus on equipment or whatever. There's loads of different strands to it now. Whereas when I did it, it was kind of, it was broad and it wasn't concentrated in any one direction, but it still gave you a qualification to say that you could go anywhere in the world and at least go and get a job in a golf facility and you were qualified to teach. So for me, that was all I wanted, and just got some great years out of it, as you mentioned. Portugal for a couple of years as a young lad going away from home for the first time. Really, that was a great experience. What age
were you then?
22 maybe, 22 when I went to Portugal, 23.
Sure, 23. You're still talking late 90s?
Yeah, exactly.
So you might have been going to Australia, like.
Yeah, exactly, 99.
Back then it was,
Yeah, I remember, I think emails only became a thing nearly around that, and learning how to kind of send an email home or whatever, and just being out there.
Imagine even talking about it.
I know, imagine. And I remember they gave me a company phone out there, you know, which was a big thing. You were kind of like
a lad to carry it for you.
Ahead of department, you got your own phone. And sure, of course, I was starting to ring home because it was.
He was only pro with the Snickers trousers. The phone was that late.
But I was ringing home. You'd be homesick or whatever. Got pulled into the office a month later to say, look, that company phone is for making local phone calls, but not for running up. At the time, would have been £150 worth of rates on
pull
it.
up the handbrake out, Harry,
Nah, look, and like I said, look, I went to Waterford and did 14 years down there. Loved it. Great golf club. Brilliant members. Got really well supported in my job down there. Did a lot of teaching. Did a lot of retailing. Selling the equipment, selling all the clothing, all that kind of stuff.
It was a packed shop, wasn't it, Harry?
Yeah, it was, And like, you think of those years, I started there in 2005, like, I got some great years through the boom. Everyone and their auntie was playing golf and there was plenty of money around. And then obviously the recession comes and the role changes and the environment around golf clubs. Suddenly golf clubs and being a member was seen as a luxury item, you know what I mean? So some tough years thereafter. And then I kind of got, into doing the director of golf kind of managerial side of things or whatever. But, when I finished in the end of 2018, I kind of felt that, maybe it was reaching the age of 40 or whatever, but I kind of felt like I wanted to kind of maybe go down and do a different side of things. And I think with the advent of kind of online and big superstores, not just being in Dublin and Cork, they were suddenly opening stores all around the country.
American golf is massive.
Trying to be a one-man kind of business was getting more and more difficult. And you make that decision, and when you make these decisions, you don't look back. You decide, right, what's the next thing? But I always knew it was going to be golf anyway.
Going back to when you started your apprenticeship in Carlow, right? Did you have an idea of what you were going into?
I had some idea insofar as you were going to be working at a golf facility, every day of the week or
whatever. Did you know your day to day?
Yeah, I did, I think, because I'd been around those other guys and I knew there'd be the opportunity to learn off Andy Gilbert, who obviously was and still is a very respected golf professional, trained a lot of guys around this local area who have since gone on to have very good jobs in golf clubs all around the country. So I knew I was going to get a very good mentorship in something that I was massively passionate about. Again, it's kind of like my job at the moment. I never felt I was going to work.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes getting up on the bike, cycling out to the golf club at 6:30 on a Sunday morning after coming out of the foundry at 2:30 didn't really line up properly,
Yeah, stabilise.
But you do those things when you're 18 and 19.
Yeah.
You don't do them anymore.
It wasn't a bike, it was a horse.
Yeah.
No, the reason I asked that is because it's obviously any apprenticeship is difficult, right? It's financially difficult. You're the team maker. You're a dog's body.
Yeah.
So would you having those understandings to still go in and do it?
Yeah.
Screams to me that I didn't give a fuck how hard this is going to be.
No, absolutely, yeah. And like back then, 99, like that's, as you said, it's a long time ago. The money now wouldn't.
You wouldn't share your first paycheck.
It wouldn't buy you a t-shirt down the town these days. Yeah. Honestly. So you had to have a passion for it. You had to feel that this is what you want to do. And for me, it was no chance was I going down the Kilkenny Road down to the college to study business or doing something. Not for me, no chance.
Do you think that's
I don't
dying,
think I
Harry?
would have applied myself to it.
Do you think that's dying in society today? Like you look at all the, and I'm not going off topic, but you're fucking, why not? It's a cozy podcast.
Yeah.
You look at like people crying out for apprentices.
Yeah, true.
Like block layers, plasterers.
Can't get them,
They can't get them.
Yeah. But it's funny, like you go through the boom then or whatever, like, and when people had good big jobs, they nearly would have looked down or laughed at people. That my sister's a teacher, they would have laughed at her having a steady salary job or whatever. Like, you can do so much better than that in the boom or whatever. But we're coming around full circle now again, and you're kind of saying, you know what, steady job, Papa's job, my sister's job, you know, and apprenticeships, sure, as you said, they're still crying out for them. Yeah. Like, if you're advising a young lad now to go on what to do, but you could do worse.
Go get yourself a trade.
Absolutely, you could do worse.
Go anywhere in the world with a trade.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's why I'm asking it, because I say this every fucking... My wife's a teacher, secondary school teacher. And we'd have conversations. And because she's a teacher, we'd have conversations about the future of the country, right?
Yeah.
That's how fucking deep.
Interesting, yeah.
That's how deep we are, right? Well, sorry. One half of the conversation is deep, the other half is me. But no. But, like, she's saying, why isn't government or whoever pushing people into this role of apprenticeships and things like that?
Yeah.
She said she teaches people, and she's I don't understand how the guidance here is go get really loads of points or leaving cert and go to college. Yeah. When there's a majority kind of that you should be saying, yeah, Burns higher in there, bud. Do you know? Yeah. Electrician might be for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, it's a good question, because the other way is people study hard and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that, but they get their points and go and do their 4-year course. But there may be none really the wiser, because they've done quite a general kind of degree or whatever, and they don't really come out then with a whole lot of, you know, work experience or life experience. And now they're hoping to be hired at 23 or 24. But they're nearly behind the curve as such. You know what I mean? Well, look, there's a space for everyone, I suppose.
There is, but
you know,
I get what you're saying. You could have someone to come out of Trinity that has a doctorate in Wellington monuments.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's going? Where are you going?
You do get deep, don't you?
Job? We do.
Yeah.
Where are you going? Wow, this fucking double entendre, was it? Where do you go? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to golf. Fuck that. Shut up, sorry, Harry. Apologise. Can we start again? I'm only joking. Take it back to Portugal.
Yeah.
How does that come about, the opportunity?
Yeah, great opportunity. In fairness to my father, he kind of nearly put it together. I was obviously finishing up in Carlow. I got qualified at the back end of the summer, I say September, October. He kind of pushed me, saying, like, do you really want to stay there for the whole winter, twiddling your thumbs? Not much going on in golf clubs in Ireland for that 6 months from October till March. Yeah. Would you not see, can you go somewhere, get an opportunity? Joe Tully here, local travel agent in town, would have been and still is very friendly with Dennis O'Brien. Dennis O'Brien, Irish businessman, entrepreneur, ESAT. He owns Quinta de Lago, still does to this day. Yeah, and one man spoke to the other man and said, look, would there be any... honestly, I think they basically made an opportunity for me. It was like any chance he could maybe go there and get a bit of an experience or whatever. Brilliant. And went out there. There was a couple of Portuguese pros that were teaching there. They were older kind of guys, and suddenly I came in as maybe a younger guy. Again, 2005, the boom. Irish people buying properties over in Portugal like they're buying Smarties down in town. Yeah. And suddenly I'm there as the new pro, and I'm giving lessons, and anyone that's Irish or English suddenly, I want to get the young Irish guy or whatever, you know. Yeah. So suddenly it became popular very quickly, was given a load of lessons. Brilliant resort, still is to this day. You've been there, haven't you, Pop? Have you?
Not on that one.
Amazing play. That'll be the next trip, next April maybe.
We'll watch the Masters over there.
Exactly. But an amazing place and a great opportunity to go there. Did 2 years there. In hindsight, probably came home out of it too soon, because he now has a golf resort in the north of Spain, which is confirmed for the Ryder Cup in 2031. Yeah, that's Dennis O'Brien's golf resort. And funny, people would have always said to me afterwards, and it's well known about Dennis O'Brien, that if you're working for him and you stay working for him, he's very loyal to who works for him, and he'll move you on and up the chain. So hindsight's a great thing, but if I'd have stayed in Portugal a bit longer, who knows where you could have gone from there. But at the time, in, like I said, 2005, 2006, the big thing then was to try and actually get yourself a good club pros job in Ireland. Golf clubs were flying. It was going to be a good, successful number. So at the end of 2 years in Portugal, I started applying for jobs back home then, yeah.
And was Waterford the first one?
Yeah, I think I applied for maybe Tramore, which is only out the road first, and a good buddy of mine chinned me on the line for that one. And then maybe 6 months later, the Waterford job came up and managed to come home and get that. And I think at the time, that was, what am I saying, I was 26 maybe. I think at the time, like, there was probably 25 or 30 applicants in for it, managed to get the job. But I'd say a big part of me getting the job was the fact I'd done 2 years where I'd done it, because it was well known by Irish people. It was seen as a kind of a top class European resort, and it looked good in the CV, so it didn't do me any harm. You know what I mean? So
what a place to learn it as well.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it was great.
And tell me about Waterford then. You mentioned there about the boom and it breaking down. Does the role change during good times and then bad times?
It does, yeah. Obviously, they would have hemorrhaged a lot of members through the recession, which is understandable. People don't have that extra kind of income, I suppose, to be joining gyms or golf clubs or whatever. So they would have hemorrhaged a good few members. We had a general manager in the golf club, and I suppose his salary was seen to be probably the highest salary in the club, so they had to make that position redundant. Wow. I was lucky enough that my salary was a lot less than that, and I was kind of making my own money in my own business as such. So I managed to kind of stay on, but they obviously gave me kind of probably 50% of his workload and disguised it as director of golf. Look, they weren't in a position to properly kind of pay you for that extra workload, but to be honest, you took it on because it cemented your position in the place in the middle of a recession. Still enjoyed doing what I was doing, but funny, over successive years and different people come and go, captains and committees, the workload from that side of things starts to increase. You're not getting paid for it. It's taking you away from the stuff that you love doing, retailing and teaching. And now you're spending time sitting at committee tables at 2 o'clock on a Monday listening to arguments and stuff that comes in from members. And so I think, to be honest, the last 2 or 3 years, nothing to do with the golf club, just purely the circumstance, my love for the job probably started to wane. And I was being taken away from the stuff that I was good or passionate at, and I was getting sucked into admin
more of a general manager sort of,
and a part of a job that I wasn't really being paid to do, you know. So, you know, that's where I suppose, and like I said to you earlier, the whole retail environment and trying to kind of stay competitive and run a one-man business against online and all that. Look, the golf environment in this country is difficult. You basically are relying on a good 6-month season, and I don't know any business that can do survive well for 6 months season, and survive for 12. So
the polar bear job, isn't it?
The writing was kind of on the wall for the previous kind of year and a half, and I suppose you just got to bite the bullet, and I decided this is what I'm going to do. And I often think about it, like I've still great friends with Waterford members, play a lot of golf with them when I'm home now these days, but I don't regret the decision. I think for me, anyway, I got out at exactly the right time, because I suppose I hadn't decided to kind of go down a route of building a swing studio and focusing fully on coaching, or I didn't fully decide to be in the retail element of the business and go in and try and maybe do a general manager's role. I probably should have diversified a little bit earlier into one area of professional golf or golf management, where I was still trying to spread myself thin and do 4 or 5 things.
Is it that big of a... because you just do one category in it? Just teaching? Yeah,
you could if you... Yeah, but again, it depends where you are, the size of the club, the population of the area. You know, I definitely think you can do it in Dublin, anyhow, for sure, yeah. And the way it's gone now, you see a lot of guys and a lot of clubs recognise that you kind of nearly, for a facility for the members, and if a pro is involved or whatever, you need to probably have a swing studio now that people can go and get lessons indoors.
Get stats.
You can't afford to have my business to be idle for 4 or 5 months in the winter. I could have 4 lessons booked. The next thing it starts slashing rain. Income gone for the day. Like that day, everything moves on and evolves, and that world has become a lot more professional.
It's that. You won't believe it until you see it.
Yeah.
You're going to ask, you're swinging out, you're swinging inside, you're swinging outside, or your swing speed is not there. And I think it is.
Yeah.
Put you up on the monitor here.
Absolutely.
Hit that ball
and
into the screen.
When people are investing now in buying clubs like you're going to do now next season, Podge, you want to get properly fitted for those clubs and make sure that this
Grant told me he's going to give me 70% discount.
There you go. And
that's live, that's recorded.
Just, he doesn't say that to too many people.
I find that interesting in your job in Waterford. It's just struck with me, where you're neglecting the things you love in the role. So your passion is in coaching. Would that be top?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But again, it's hard to kind of build up enough of that business to be really busy. You won't be busy all year round with it, but even to try and build it up to the extent that you could be very busy for 6 months with it. If I had enough of that there, I would have focused solely on that. But I had to be there on a Sunday morning to give members the scorecard. I had to be there to retail, try and sell a few clubs and jumpers. And I love the retail. I like the wheeling and dealing side of it. I did really like that, and it was, I would say, pretty good at it. But over time, you can see it becomes more and more difficult. I can't stock every brand of driver or electric trolley, and as time evolved, people could start seeing this stuff popping up on Facebook, or websites were popping up, or like you said, the big superstores that were in Dublin now suddenly opened in Waterford, and if they're opening 2 miles down the road from me when there was no other rival there, that's a problem for me. You know what I mean? So, and as much as you get on well with members and their loyalty, which they were fantastic, but if they can go down on a rainy Saturday when the course is closed, they've no reason to come up to the golf club. But that shop down in the business park will still be open, and they'll go in there and browse. And they might only go in for one item, but when everything is there in front of them, they'll actually come out with 3. And at the end of the day, when I sit down with my accountant, you could see it, like, you know. Yeah. So there's no point in burying your head in the sand.
They're picking up tees, golf balls,
whatever, simple things,
gloves,
and they don't mean to,
a regular occurrence, but it's not.
You're there on a Sunday morning at 6:30 giving them the scorecards, and one lad wheels down by the window with a €700 trolley. And it's not that he didn't want to give you the business, but maybe I didn't quite have that trolley sitting on the floor. I might have had to ring it in or order it. It might be 3 days before it gets here or whatever. And it's just the cycle of.
Well, it's probably monetary as well. Like big chains and stores can sell things at a much
100%,
much tighter line than you could in a pro shop. Like you know, because I play in Spain once a year with Malaga, Mijas.
Yeah, lovely place. Yeah,
beautiful, unbelievable setup. And I go in. I rent clubs there, and I go in. I always buy balls and I buy a glove or whatever.
Yeah,
like. You drop €100 there on bits and pieces.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know it.
Oh yeah, no, of course you would. Yeah, golf is like I'm very lucky. Like as a golf professional since what did I say to you? 1998. I've never paid a green fee for any golf club I've ever played in the world. Since 1998. So I have no sense, but I have no sense, like, you tell me you're going to trips to Spain and whatever and playing these fantastic courses. I, unfortunately or fortunately, don't have any sense as to what's value to go and play Mount Juliet there with John Barry 2 weeks ago, like, and he pays €75 for 9 holes, and I'm thinking, like, that's fucking nuts. You know what I mean? But like, and we come in off the 8 because it's lashing rain. You know what I mean? But, you know, so, you know, you're very fortunate. It is an expensive game. Like, I usually don't pay for buying clubs or you know, get gear or whatever. Like, but you're right, for guys to actually invest and change your driver, change your clubs or bits and pieces. Like, it's like a second mortgage if you're big into it.
Now is, if you want to get a good driver with a proper shaft, just the driver's 650, 700 quid.
There you go.
That's probably the cheap end.
Well, no, that's a proper shaft.
No, you want to get the cheap end. Like Shylock.
11 hockey sticks in his bag.
11 snooker cues. No,
rare than on a golf course.
And you know what it is about golf as well? I love it. I love the game. I love watching golf. I love reading about it. I love watching golf fucking YouTubers. I just fucking love swing thoughts. No, I'm rubbish at, but I just love it. Gimmicks.
Yeah.
Gimmicks sell.
Yeah, no, they do, yeah.
Like, you look at your normal club golfer, right? He's head to toe in golf apparel. Yeah. And he also has a little thing stuck on the side of his hat, right? They now have magnets on the side of the Bushnells. So you can magnet them to the yoke.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I was looking at a train the other night which was a piece of string and 2 hooks, and I was selling for like 50 quid.
Really?
It's just a hook on both ends, put it down in the hole, and you just get the.
Right, yeah.
I'm thinking there's lads at home in groups of 4 and 5 thinking up of these gimmicks.
Yeah,
and they're just pushing them out and they're being sold.
Yeah, that's maybe the route I should have gone down there.
Yeah, honestly. It's crazy, isn't it?
Timo would have killed you, Harry.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like every week there's something new in golf.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's no doubt, like what we spoke about, and the same for you, Papa. Once you get into the golf, you're hooked to the game. Like, there's no, I'm sure it's probably the same, and lads are mad passionate about playing snooker or tennis or something. But like, you do get hooked into it, and there's so much improvement. You're never going to finish the level. It's like a computer game. You're never going to finish it. You're never going to perfect it. So like, you're always sucked in, and if you still enjoy the buzz and the challenge and the lads you meet through the years of playing the sport, like, it's
a trip away with lads golfing is as good as a trip you'll ever go on.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You're right, lads. Yeah. It's a brilliant trip.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 100%.
And Spain, Ireland, wherever you want to go.
Invite me in our next one.
You can come and caddy, yeah. Yeah, I know, 100%.
I'm only joking. Speaking of caddying, you're caddying now, right?
Yeah.
Here's the fucking question.
Right.
What is the difference between day-to-day as a caddy and day-to-day as a golf pro?
Good question. Yeah, a lot less stress. Funny enough, I have zero stress in my life. Zero. Thank God.
Is that because you don't make the ultimate decision?
Not really, no. I suppose in a way I have one boss.
Yeah.
And it depends how you get on with that player and you build a relationship with them, and obviously you spend a lot of time with them. They have to put a lot of trust and faith in what you do for them, and you have to have their back and support them all day, every day. But it's not a stressful environment. It can be at times out on the golf course if they're either not playing well or if they are playing well and getting in contention or whatever. But in general, the job is not stressful. I don't have emails being pinged into me every day.
Yeah.
I don't have someone on my back constantly because I'm able to do the job. And a lot of it is I'm 10% of her performance I support and I try and encourage and I try and give all the right good advices, the basics of caddying. But at the end of the day, I don't hit any golf shots, so I have very little control. Very little.
Is the big thing, Harry, the fact that you're not customer facing anymore?
Yeah, probably. And I think maybe for doing that 20 years, that does wear you down. Yeah, it does, I'm sure.
That's a big change.
Yeah,
right?
no, it is a big change, yeah. And look, I love to travel. Like a good pal of mine, Shane Codd here in town, he's been doing it. We qualified the exact same time and he went caddying straight away. So he's done caddying for over 20 years now.
Whoa.
And he's now kind of getting tired of just the travelling. If someone could transport him straight to the venue, he loves the caddying.
Yeah.
But he's getting sick of going to the airport. He's
Couple of
getting
kids
sick
as well,
of
right,
travelling.
isn't he?
Yeah, and he's young family at home. And look, he was doing the caddying for 10 years before the first child ever came along. So the kids are used to him being away for 2 weeks a month. You know what I mean?
Driving a truck, like.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but he loves the job, and as he says, what job would give you 20 weeks off a year? He's lucky enough that he's still with a very successful player that plays on the LPGA, so he's earning plenty of money that he can enjoy his 20 weeks off. But yeah, it's not for everyone living out of a suitcase every week. It sounds glamorous. I was in Houston last week, come home from Houston, have a few days, go to Alicante now on Sunday. The airport to me is
shopping centre.
Yeah, I literally I know how the airport works now, and I go straight through the airport and I don't mess around. Whereas, you know, people go to the airport and they spend 20 minutes in duty free. I'm gone through it in 30 seconds, you know, and you know,
that's
so
brilliant.
I start my work the minute I get in the car to drive to the airport. Now I'm working so the travel day to get to America, that's part of work. But it doesn't bother me. I still enjoy it.
Harry left us in Augusta on the Sunday.
That's
you
right.
Fly straight to Miami, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Straight onto the job. I had to go prep the course for 6 hours or whatever I used to do.
Yeah. Flew through the night to get over onto the West Coast,
Crazy,
But I love it. And as long as I love it and enjoy both the travel and the job, I'll keep doing it.
Do you think a day will come where you won't enjoy it?
I've no sense of that. I'm 4 years caddying next week. I've no sense of that at all now. And I still feel in ways that I'm still earning my stripes caddying. You have to build your layers and build your reputation and get to know agents, managers, players. That's the network of how things work. You know what I mean? So
from being around Harry and from being with him the last couple of times, even on the plane at the time, you've the bug for golf.
Yeah,
in regards to caddying.
Yeah,
it's like a player picking up a club for the first time. It's I can't wait to go to the golf
I've
course
always
again.
had.
Is that comparable, Harry? Is that comparable? Is it?
Which the bug for
getting the golf bug and then in this kind of caddying role.
I'm sure
probably supersedes coaching, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it probably is. I think it's in general it's an unbelievable passion for the sport. I'd nearly say it sounds mental now, and I don't mean to be in any way sound. I'd nearly say I have as much passion for the game as Pádraig Harrington quite clearly still has at the age of 53. Like he is a golf nut, you know.
Oh, but sure, he's constantly on swing change.
He's online
never
videos.
mind even swing. I think he truly loves the game, which is a different level again now. You know, yes, he's been a professional athlete and he's managed to keep longevity in his career through to the seniors tour. He's an amazing role model for any professional athlete. Never mind golf.
He's a proper ambassador for it.
He is. But I think he truly loves the game.
He's a proper player because if he was playing a major in the morning, not the senior one, a normal one.
Yeah.
If he's there with 10 holes to go, you don't want to be facing him down the lane or back to back line.
He can still compete. And he still believes, I think he's still chasing this, the record for the oldest professional to try and win on a main tour. That's why he's still flitter back and last week in the K Club didn't go his way or whatever, but he still believes on a given week that he can still win a DP World Tour event. And I think the oldest winner was maybe Jimenez at the age of 48.
Yeah.
And Harrington is staying fit and working hard and practicing, yes, to earn a shed load of money on the seniors tour, but also I think one more little bucket list for him is to try and see can he win one more on what's called the main tour, the under 50s tour.
But he has the distance, Harry, still.
Yeah, which is unbelievable.
He's 50 yards, some 60 yards of some of them pros on the senior front.
Yeah. Which is like, to do that, you've got to stay active, got to stay working.
Yeah,
he's dedicated his life to it.
I don't watch his videos. I actually, and I'll tell you who else videos I love Garcia's.
Yeah.
Garcia has the analogy of ringing the bell when the driver ring the bell.
Yeah.
But Harrington is like, some of Harrington's coaching thoughts now are brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, he's totally against gimmies.
Right. Yeah.
Like, why would an amateur golfer give gimmies? Like, you know, you're 5 footing in is.
What he also says about the amateur golfer, why do they go and practice off the back tees? Get up and play off the ladies.
Yeah.
Like, you're scoring clubs in your hand and learn how to get birdies on a repetitive basis.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing hitting driver 4 into the first in Carlow when you can go hit it off the ladies and hit a driver in the wedge in?
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm used to birdie this all the last 307 times. Or hitting, it's just mentality is fantastic.
No, some of the stuff he comes out with, you see it on social media and about giving advice to kids, and like I said earlier, about like, just let them go, let them have fun.
He's mad, man, though.
He is mad, but like a lot of these, and that was a point I was thinking about earlier before I came in, like a lot of these professional sports people are mad.
I think
the best ones are mad.
The best ones are mad. You have to be mad.
You have to be
on
the
edge.
edge.
We'll get onto it now, but like, I've worked for some absolute psychos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you have to understand that they are where they are, and they're as good as what they are because they live on the edge, and they are a bit
100%.
nuts, like, you know what I mean? So me thinking that they're going to act normal around me or be normal in a pressurised environment, no chance. You know, they're not normal, like, and they're not going to treat you normal either.
Yeah.
And if they play 4 or 5 tournaments in a row, like, it's quite normal to them to decide, well, it's not me.
Yeah.
It's not my swing. I'm going to sack the caddy.
Yeah.
Because I'm the easiest person to be sacked. You know what I mean? So,
I remember going to the range in an Irish Open. I think it was Fort Island, 10 or 12 years ago, and Harrington was there, and he was absolutely sawing balls over with the driver. Coming over his shoes, hitting it now, right? Yeah. Then he pulls out this yoke over his bag. It's like bigger than a tennis ball, but smaller than a football, and puts a strap under his foot.
Under his foot?
Yeah, and he started hitting it, so he's off balance hitting the driver. It's like, and the tongue is hanging out, and he's double rolling his tongue like this. And the man interviewed him after, what's the story with the tennis ball under your foot? He said, oh, sure, I'm playing St Andrews next week. You want to get a flat lie over there?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, he has thought about.
It's a week ahead.
Nuts.
He has. I remember when he got sponsored by High Tech years ago, and he was involved in, or they asked him to kind of help them maybe build a shoe or whatever, and he got like
proper into it, like
technical. That
it's like when Homer Simpson when he built a car.
Yeah, he had like he'd extra foam and this foot and about this, and it became a thing because he was playing well at the time and popular. Everyone wanted. I sold a heap of High Tech shoes.
Thanks, Paddy.
We skipped a bit. Take the idea to go into caddying. How does it come up?
A little bit by chance, to be honest. A couple of good friends of mine, Shane Codd, who I mentioned, and another couple of pals, Irish guys, have been caddying on the LPGA. I was at a bit of a crossroads. I didn't know really. When I finished Waterford, I knew I wanted to stay within the golf world. Went back into the family business down below with the brother, kind of worked that for about a year, giving myself a bit of time to decide what I wanted to do. Then McGurk's Golf opened up a store in Kilkenny, and I kind of opened that up or managed that store as they got ready to open, and managed it for the first year that
Still
they had
open,
that.
right?
Still open, it's a good store, So I managed that for the first year. And then equally kind of felt, you know what, is this what I really want to be doing? Managing 12 staff in a golf store, is this really what I want? So right around that time, Shane said to me, look, it was September, like I said, September 21, 4 years ago now this week. And he said, look, do you want to maybe come out? And I think you'd be great, or I think this might be for you. There's 8 tournaments left towards the end of the season. He said, I can get you hooked up with a Korean player. And he said, maybe come out and give it a go. Like, so in fairness, like he told a few porkies to the Korean player that, this lad has caddied before. And, there's no doubt. I knew the golf world. I knew golf as such, but I knew golf from a coaching, from a working in a golf club environment. I'd never caddied professionally. And like, carrying the clubs for someone or caddying for your buddy on the final 9 of the Captain's Prize out in Carlow is a bit different to tour caddying. But anyhow, he told me the few no-nos, as in bring the towel everywhere with you and make sure not to drop it going down the fairway, and
you probably get cheered more than the Captain's Prize, I'd say.
Exactly. But no, he gave me some tips out there to make it look as if I knew what I was doing. But like honestly, I was winging it the first couple of weeks out there, and this Korean player had played 10 years. Yeah, but no better man to win. Like, what do you do? Like, it's sink or swim. But so like that, like, how can I give you an example? You'd be out on the practice round. This Korean player played 10 years on tour, had a very successful career, but was reaching the age of 30. A lot of the Koreans turn pro at 17 or 18. They bang it out of it for 10 years and then they kind of nearly fall off the cliff.
That's the age mentality, right?
Yeah, it is, honestly. And she was kind of falling off the edge of the cliff, hence she got rid of a caddy in September, struggling to keep her card, needed someone for the last 8 tournaments. So here I am. Meet her the first Monday morning, have the yardage book, I'm scribbling, pretending I'm drawing a few notes in it, and I, walk the course that morning. But like a player that has a bit of experience will find you out fairly quickly.
Crayons in his bag.
So
he's drawing a house.
I was kind of, like the line off the tee is very easy. You can, I know where to hit the ball, and the one thing about the ladies' game is it's very comparable to a decent level amateur game. They hit a 7-iron 155 yards.
It's in your wheelhouse.
It's very comparable. Where the men's game now has probably gone too far ahead, you know?
Yeah.
So from that point of view, I could kind of give her reasonable clubs, give her reasonable lines, but there'll be certain nuances that she'd kind of ask you about or whatever. I'm trying to even think of one right now, and I can't necessarily pull one out. But I remember within the second day, probably. Yeah, I got found out pretty quickly. Or else you'd bum a yardage that you'd be stepping a yardage off a disc, and instead of saying that we're 10 yards behind it, adding on 10, I took off 10, and now I'm out by 20. And if you're out by 20 yards, that's not good. You know what I mean? So couple of little things like that. So look, I don't care who you are, you're always going to, you have to cut your teeth and learn the hard way. When you make the mistake, you learn not to make it again. You know what I mean? So
it's a one and done, isn't it? If
lucky enough, none of them were...
The yardage is crucial to Harry, isn't it? Like in regards to how far she can hit it. Is the bunker in play off the tee? Or no, it's not driver's tree.
Well, even not that. I'm just thinking now, like, there's people think caddying is like carrying a bag and the yardage and, okay, where's the wind coming from? But, like, let's say you have 160 yards to the pin, but it's coming in over a bunker. So the front edge is 140 yards, but yet the carry on the bunker is 12 more than the front edge. So now you've 152. So she might have said to me, what's the carry in line with the bunker? And like, you need to have that literally ready. You can't go fudging like. So now 152, and then she might have said, how many do I have behind it? Like, how many yards do I have behind the pin?
In regards to wind?
Until I run out to the back edge of the green.
Right.
And again, like, you have the pins the night before, the pin is 22 on, the depth of the green is 30, so okay, you have 8 behind it. So, but like, she needs to know this information. Now, maybe some players don't need to know it, it's too much for them, but some of them want to know, right, I need to carry a minimum 152 and I run out of space out the back at 160. So there's my margin. I have 8 yards to play with or whatever. So something like that would have been the one that I kind of got found out on pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And she I remember her kind of nearly saying, who did you caddy for or whatever? And we'd made up some player that I caddied for a few weeks or whatever. And,
win one soon.
Lion Forest. I was caddy for Lion Forest for many years.
But like I said, you learn very quickly. She wasn't playing great golf, so even if Steve Williams had been caddying for her, she wasn't going to be suddenly winning tournaments. But I always remember she missed her card anyhow, and we had to go to tour school, where every professional doesn't want to go. So tour school in Alabama. So anyhow, we're there, and it was a 2-week tournament. 8 rounds of golf, so we progress from the first week into the second week, and you've 2 days off to learn 2 new courses in the second week. So we're there on the second week anyhow, and we're kind of struggling a bit. We're not going to make the cut into the final day, but anyhow, she walks up the top of a hill to kind of look at the second shot and where she wants to land the ball, and I have my head stuck in the yardage book, and just as she comes back towards me at the bag, I hear this sound that no one ever wants to hear. She actually kicked the ball because she had her head stuck in it. So she actually kicked the ball 5 yards back down the fairway. So I had to call the rules referee. Obviously, you've moved the position of the ball. It's a penalty stroke or whatever. Put the ball back, play anyhow. And in the end, that one penalty shot was the difference in her keeping her card or not keeping her card. So, look, her own fault. Very unfortunate thing to happen. But it's funny how she ended up going back a tour then. Didn't play great even the following year, and now she's kind of back around again, and never thought she'd be still playing now at the age of 4 years later. She's probably 32 now, and she's back playing as good at golf as ever, like, unbelievable. But these, like, I've worked for a good few Asians, and their whole culture and ethos is like just hours and hours and hours and hours of work. It's like, it's unbelievable. There's no shortcuts, none whatsoever.
But that's in their... That's
it's in their DNA, and they've had it since the age of probably 10.
Like, school finishes over there like 7, 8 o'clock at night because they finish school, because the houses are so small they don't want the kids at home. The mother and father are working. that's when they play their sports.
Yeah.
So from when they finish school at 3 or 4 to 8 or 9 at night.
It's a dedicated way of life, isn't it?
Oh, it's nuts. Yeah. Tell me about that tour school. Is that the hardest form of professional golf?
Yeah, I honestly, the longer I caddy, the more, and look, I only know this sport in-depthly compared to other sports, but I think professional golf in general is probably the most brutal sport that's out there. There's no hiding place in it. When you're riding a crest of a wave, let's say a guy like Seamus Power there a few years ago, went to watch him play in the Masters in 2022. He played in the par 3 contest, top 50 in the world player. Suddenly then they all tend to have a purple patch. That's why anyone really that keeps a purple patch going longer than 2 years solid is an enigma, really. You know what I mean? He had an unbelievable patch, got to top 50 in world, playing all the majors, doing really well, was sniffing a chance to play a Ryder Cup, didn't quite get there. And then obviously the form just drops, which is naturally will for all of these, really. Yeah. Apart from the absolute superstars. But like his form drops, you get an injury here or there, your form drops, you lose your confidence, and suddenly you're not in the top 50, you're not in the top 100 anymore. And here we are struggling to keep your card on the tour. Now, he's done very well for himself and could finish up. But like at the same time, he still believes and still is working every bit as hard that he wants to get back to that top table. But it is brutal. And you see it when you're caddying, you see it very closely about how players can suddenly struggle. And the struggle becomes mental, the struggle becomes confidence. It might actually be nothing to do with the way they swing the club, but just mentally, golf is such a tough sport at that level. Yeah. And there's so many other people that are willing to kind of pass you out very, very quickly. Like it's great to be carrying the bag and to be that close to the action, but I'd absolutely hate to be playing professional golf for a living.
But there's not, I don't think there's not much you can compare that journey to in sport. Like, you've just compared Power there, right? So say you're a Premiership footballer, right? You're a striker for a mid-table Premier League team and you get 14 goals and 14 goals. You're getting a big move.
Yeah.
You're getting a big move,
yeah,
right?
True, yeah.
So you're going to a top 4 club and you're making your money. You 4-year contract. You don't care what happens after. Yeah. You take that Power lad. He has 2 seasons where he's in the top 50.
Yeah.
And he's in the prime of his life.
Yeah.
So if that was in football terms, he's been signed by a top club.
Yes.
To be sorted out for the rest of his life.
Yeah, no, true.
But no, he goes on the decline.
Yeah.
And he's in that, like, to me, that kind of Euro Tour world, that Q school world, it's like purgatory almost.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You know, I'm not on the top tour. And I'm very close to just finishing the game.
Yeah.
Like, it's a nuts position, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, like, even at that level, it's a very expensive sport. Some people actually drop out of it because they can't continue to chase the dream, which is sad in a way. And I see that a lot more in the women's game, especially the women's game in Europe, that they're playing for better money now over the last couple of years, but they're not playing for anything near like what the women in America play for. Right. And you can have, like, if you're a female professional golfer who's had a good amateur career and has turned pro. Yes, you might have went to college in America, but let's say you're European, you're German, you're Irish, whatever. Lauren Walsh, Irish girl, very good player. Played Curtis Cup as an amateur golfer, brilliant level, and is now cutting her teeth on the LET. But like, you know, the LET is really kind of, you know, a place that you kind of want to cut your teeth, but you probably don't want to stay there too long. Like, if you're good enough, you will progress onto the LPGA, but not everyone can get there. There's only 140 girls teed up every week out of the whole world, you know? And like, you'll go broke very quickly if you're playing much longer than 2 or 3 years playing in Europe, because the prize money isn't there unless you have really good sponsors that can cover all the expenses of your travel and accommodation, and like that, if you're willing to have a caddy and feel that investing in a caddy is a good idea. It's tough, it's brutal. And as you say, if you're bouncing around and then going back to tour school, and there's unbelievable stress, like you can see it written right now, this last couple of weeks, you can see it written all over people's faces that they know they have 6 tournaments left on the LET schedule to keep their card. And some of these girls would have been heralded as being brilliantly good golfers, but the transition from a top level amateur to a pro isn't easy either, and it's not for everyone. Like, you know, when you're in college, you're part of a college system whereby there's coaches there that have everything laid on for you. You're travelling as part of a team, you're getting on a flight to go from one side of America to play another college or whatever. now you're a pro and you are a one-man walking business and you've got to look after it yourself.
Yeah.
And if you have money behind you, that's great. But you'll burn a hole in 100 grand very, very quickly in the season.
But it's that cutthroat as well, Harry, that if you don't secure the card, any kind of sponsor you have is probably waving you goodbye.
Yeah, a lot of them are short-term deals, or they'll be bonus-related or performance-related. And apart from your very small circle, I had this chat with an Irish girl only a couple of weeks ago, and nobody gives a fuck about you when you're out there. Nobody. Probably your caddy,
said the same.
Probably your parents, probably your coach, but he probably doesn't travel every week with you. But there's about 5 people that really care about you. And outside of that, no one gives a fuck about you because they're basically trying to slit your throat on the golf course to try and win a tournament or get higher than you in the rankings or whatever. So it's a horrible sport at that level. It's a completely different level where the likes of Lowry and these lads are operating. That's a different level altogether. Completely different level.
Is the gap massive?
It is massive. Yeah,
between say where the big guns are and the next. Because I remember reading somewhere Jimmy Bullard tried his luck on the Europe Pro Tour for a few years. And
it is massive, yeah. But funny enough, once you get there, or it's like the men's tour in particular with these elevated events as they call them now, and if you were like Seamus Power, if you were top 50 in the world, you were suddenly getting into a different bracket of tournaments. And if you could get into that circus and get into that tent, it's a lot easier to stay in there.
Yeah.
Very hard to get in there.
Yeah.
But equally, when you're in there and you're playing in those tournaments that these other guys can't get into, it's very hard to fall out of it. You nearly can't fall out of it. You know what I mean? So
cement yourself into it.
It's a vicious circle, really.
And stand out for you now as a caddy. You're at 4 years. What's the standout?
I've been very lucky to go and caddy on some of the iconic golf courses. I think that for me is a huge thrill to kind of even there this year, only a few weeks ago, and go and caddy in Royal Portugal in Wales. Would be heralded as a super. You'd love to go and play a place what a golf course that was. Amazing, and an unbelievable setup for the women's game. The reason they don't go there in the men's game, I think the men's game would obliterate that place, and plus it is quite remote in where it is there in Wales. It's probably not the ideal location or whatever, but brilliant golf course, brilliant setup. Obviously the women had the Women's British Open in St Andrews last year. I played it once before in 2011 on a lads trip, but it was a bit special to actually caddy in a major around. So I can always say I caddied in a major in St Andrews.
Super golf course.
And it's nice to feel that you're there, with a player and you're trying to kind of support and guide them around in a major championship. I think I caddied 4 of the 5 majors on the women's tour this year. 2 of them in America, 2 in Europe, and just brilliant experience. And lucky enough in France, there going back in July, the girl I was with was tied for the lead going out in the final round in France of a major. And that's a cool experience. And you feel and you want to feel that I'm the same guy on the Sunday caddying for her than I was on the Tuesday when we played a 9-hole practice round. I knew quite visibly that she wasn't the same girl. She arrived at the golf course very quiet and very nervous because she's a girl that plays on the LET in Europe. Okay. Up against Minji Lee, who's a 2-time major winner. She's played unbelievable golf by shooting 64 on a Saturday to put us in that position to be tied for the lead in the final round of a major. But of course it's going to feel different. Of course her stomach is going to be churning and she's feeling like puking on the first tee. And thank God I didn't feel any of that. I felt it was very much myself, and I'm hopefully going to bring the balance to her chaos.
Yeah, gotcha.
But unfortunately the chaos took over for the first 4 or 5 holes, and if you do enough damage in 4 or 5 holes in a golf tournament, your chance is gone. And thank God it settled down. And then she actually probably started to enjoy it from about the 8th hole onwards. But the chance to win is gone. And now what you're trying to do is use the rest of that round to learn from the experience and have that up your sleeve, that hopefully if you put yourself back in something like that experience again, she might react differently and us as a team might be able to perform even better. Right. You know what I mean?
Brilliant, Jim.
What's your highest finish?
What's my highest finish on tour? Well, some of the lads that might listen to this now, here's a good one for you. This is a good story, and I get both of your opinions on this, right? So I was caddying for a girl. I was just doing 2 weeks for a player on the LET in Europe in 2023. I just was filling a 2-week gap that I had. And I went to Italy to do a 3-day tournament for a girl. German girl, lovely kid, get on great with her. She's a lovely girl. Did 2 days for her. she played very poor golf by her own standards, so missed the cup by miles. But we happened to be playing with this girl, an English girl, in the same group on the first 2 days, who played great golf, and she was had a one-shot lead going into the final round. So we'd missed the cut, only a 3-day tournament. We'd missed the cut, and as soon as I put in the flag on the 18th and we were going to the clubhouse, the girl that had the one-shot lead said to me, "Jeez, Harry, she didn't have a caddy, she was pulling her own trolley. But on the LET, if you're in the final kind of 10 groups for TV reasons, they don't want the girls to be seen pulling a trolley. So if you make it into the final 10 groups for the final round, you have to go and get yourself a caddy. So the fact she knew that we'd missed the cut and I wasn't going to be needed to work on Sunday, she said, "Look, if you were free tomorrow, would you caddy for me tomorrow?" And I said, "Look, I'll talk to my girl who's missed the cut. I think she's changing her flight and flying home. But if for any reason she wants to hang around and hit balls tomorrow and bleed her hands on the practice ground trying to fix the world's problems, I better be there watching divots fly, you know." So anyway, she let me off, and I rang the girl back and I said, "Yeah, I can caddy for you tomorrow." Now I said, on one condition. Lucky enough, I saw your last 2 days, so I kind of have an idea how you play the game. You might just let me know the 4 clubs that you hit into the par 3s over the last 2 days, so I can at least gauge them against kind of Earth. Yeah. But I said, "Look, you got yourself there over the first 2 days. I'm going to carry the bag for you. I'm going to tell you random stories and keep things light and keep you in good form. Yeah. But as regards, you know your game, I've only seen it for 2 days. I'm not going to be overpowering here. I'll let you do your own thing." So anyhow, we get there that morning. She did her warm-up, which she said lasted an hour and 10 minutes. She had it done in 35. So, unbelievably nervous. She got down to the last couple of wedges, and I had to kind of stand in front of the ball just to try and slow her down and talk some random story. And I remember I purposely stalled her going up around the clubhouse for the final few putts before you tee off, because I said, if she's up there standing too long, there'll be people coming over wishing her the best luck. I think it was only one shot lead. But anyhow, we went out, and in fairness to her, very little to do with me. She played fantastic golf and shot like 3 under par, and we had a 2-shot lead going up the last. And the photographer came over to me and kind of said, "Do you want to know what position?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said 2-shot lead, and it was a par 5. So it's a great drive up the middle. I kind of said, "We don't need to go for this weekend." She didn't know. I don't know if she was hugely looking at leaderboards. There wasn't a huge amount of leaderboards out there, but she laid it up anyhow, hits the ball onto the back edge of the green. And a nice little moment for her. Like I said, I only did 1 day for her, but I was able to bend down to her at the back edge of the green, and she had about a 15-footer for birdie, and I was able to tell her, "You don't need to hold this one down in 2, we'll kind of do you or whatever."
Lag it.
And she just lagged it down and popped it in. She'd never won on tour before. It was great for her to win. And, look, I helped her. I'm sure I helped her. She was very appreciative of the fact
That's
that
massive, though.
No, but it was nice,
story,
right?
Yeah.
Now, I try and claim that as my first win as a caddy, and some of my fellow caddies kind of saying, "Well, hold on now, you only caddied 1 round, maybe you can't qualify yourself as an LET winning caddy." What would you think, Pop?
It's a win for me anyway.
Well, I think I was on the bag when she got over the line and when she won, and I stood in beside her with the picture for the trophy.
It's a win for me.
A win is a win. I'll put it down as a win.
If you played for Man United in the quarter final of the cup,
or
didn't play for them, or the semi, scored a winner in the final.
Well, Roy Keane got a
not that they're going to get to a final anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You try and take John Terry's Champions League medal away from me and say,
you wouldn't take it off John Terry anyway. But no, so that look, I've had some other great moments. Like I've had some other top. That was the only win as such so far. But yeah, I've had some good finishes. There was a girl in America finished 3rd one time out in Florida, first tournament of the year in 2022 maybe. That was a good start with a new player, a Solheim Cup player. So that was a great start for us kind of working together. And at the end of the day, like, it is a results business. If you're working well, getting on, you have to get on well with your player. But at the end of the day, you do need to pull some results. They need to play the golf. And like, people ask me, which is a great line, what makes a good caddy? And basically, it's a good fucking player. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and that's it. Like, so, we don't have ultimate control. You absolutely can. Like I did that day. I think the girl played the golf, but I kept her concentrated enough but equally distracted enough to be able to kind of enjoy it and perform at her best. And it's a pressurised environment, of course it is.
Is there like a draft day for caddies? Like, is there anything where you're not attached? Like, say in the off season, is there just a pool of 140 caddies, that need to be picked? Do you know what I mean?
As in, when you say, as in, be picked for jobs.
When the season is done,
yeah.
You're all on it. Are you all unattached? Do you all become free agents? And then it's like,
it kind of is.
Fucking Harry Ewing this year. I want to get him.
Yeah, but it's all word of mouth. Like it's literally.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like
so there's no actual.
No, I've often thought about devising a Caddy Connect app. You know, it'd be a good one.
Man, you're on the winner.
You could put yourself up there any week that you're free, or any week your player wasn't playing. Put yourself up there, and then a player could have access to it. But anyhow, no, it's all word of mouth, and it's timing. Honestly, it is literally
Uber for golf caddies.
It's funny. The girl I'm working with now and really enjoying working for her, Cara again, or an English girl. She's the girl that did well in Evian, and she's doing very well on the LET this year. We'll go now and play tour school in Alabama. The torture of 5 rounds of golf in 5 days to try and get her card in America. That's the first week of December. So that'll be everything we're doing now is to try and finish the season strong. But she's guaranteed to pitch up. She's already locked that in. She'll be pitching up in Alabama, and let's see.
You'll be on her bike.
Yeah, 100%. And let's see, can she play well enough over 90 holes of golf to try and secure her playing rights in America next year, which would be another step up. So, but it's funny, her coach, a guy from England, he's the same coach of Darren Clark and Tom McKibben. Okay. You know? So I called into her golf club in London a few weeks ago. We were travelling from Wales over to the next tournament in London. Happened to call in, and I was calling in to have a chat with her. And next thing, the coach is there with Tom McKibben or whatever. And obviously McKibben has joined Liv and is playing for multi-millions or whatever. But nice lad, lovely fella. And like I said, the whole world of caddying and agents, managers, coaches, players.
It's all networking, right?
It's networking. And Tom McKibben will only ever have an Irish caddy. 100%.
But
Shane Lowry will only ever have an Irish caddy.
But you're talking about like elite fucking sports. Like that's, I'm sorry to use a soccer analogy. That's like someone, been a football manager, and then you're picking it off the back of, say, a reputation or a network, or I know fucking this lad over here, he managed fucking Dog and Duck FC, he's good.
Yeah.
Like for that to be, I find that nuts.
Yeah. Now, obviously, like you build up that network. You're obviously like, I'd never get put forward for Tom McKibben's bag if it came up in a year's time, unless I have some years' experience, which I'd like to think 4 years now, as I'm starting to tick them up now. Yeah. Obviously, what kind of reputation I have out there amongst players or agents or whatever. Obviously, this guy that coaches Cara now is beginning to know me more. He's spending more time around me, knows how I work, knows what I do and how I can support her. She's obviously given him feedback. We can see the results we've had since, not just because I've jumped on the bag, but there has to be a certain element of that she either feels very comfortable working with me, or else the stuff that we're working on when the coach isn't there, and in general the work that we're doing as a team, because you both have to feed in your energies and your efforts into a team. That's what it is. And, hopefully she's seen the benefit of that with the performances that she's been having since earlier in the year. So, and look, you're always, anytime you're out there, you got to be very careful when you're out there. Like, you see some young lads, especially on a women's tour, they're out there, either young lads now in their 20s maybe, that are getting into caddying. And they might pick the women's tour because they think, fucking, it's great life, like travel the world and you're surrounded by these young ones or whatever. But like, if you're actually doing it seriously as a career, every day you're out there, you're building your network, you're building your reputation. And you fuck that up one day or 1 week,
you're fucked.
Or you mess someone over, or you've been a player, or you do something. Look, at the end of the day, it's a cutthroat business, and as a caddy, you're like a jockey on a horse. You want to try and be on the best horse. And at Christmas time, when you're sitting down, you're thinking about next year, and you're thinking, am I happy to continue with the player that I'm with? Or is there an opportunity for me to upsell and upscale here? And in my 5th year of caddying, do I want to be caddying for a better class of player than I was in my 3rd year of caddying?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, that's it. Now, players don't like it when you leave them, but they have no problem jocking you off. So, like, you can't be too sensitive about getting fired. You need to dust yourself off and have enough belief in the work that you're doing and the person that you are and the experience that you have, that you feel, you know what, I can dust myself off here. We didn't have a good run. We either didn't get on great or she didn't play great, and I'm just collateral damage in this thing, And dust yourself off. Like, I've been sacked probably 6 or 7 times, and you take it. There's no problem.
But your wealth is reputation and results.
Yeah, very much.
As in your wealth and popularity to get jobs.
Yeah, your work ethic. People see if you're out there walking the course and doing your work and really working hard.
Do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy
I
that
love
side of
that. Yeah, absolutely. Because every golf course you turn up to is a new week, a brand new challenge, a new exam paper. I've got to go and do way above the amount of work. The player is there to play the golf course. They are the artist.
What are you looking for, Harry, when you're walking that course and you have your yardage book?
You have to know everything.
You're putting X's and spots of where you want.
Everything about the golf course. So, as you say, you'll be putting X's in place that you absolutely don't want to finish. Lines off tees, that's simple, and if you can reach that bunker on the left or you can carry that, but that's simple. But as you get closer and closer to the green, it's kind of thinking, right, if we were out of position here and I'm trying to, like that piece of paper, trying to guess where the 4 pin positions are going to be, to that back right pin, if that pin is there on Saturday and we're out of position, where's the best miss to that pin?
Yeah.
So let's say she wings one and it's in the rough. To that pin, where then is the ideal place to be to give her the best percentage chance of getting up and down?
Gotcha.
So on your yardage book, you'll be grading relative to each of the 4 pin positions. You'll be grading it between 1 being a very easy chip and 4 being fucked. Which kind of chip or which corner of that green is the place to be then? It's like a game of chess. You got to manage yourself around the golf course. Now,
I love that.
You know, the easiest job in the world. Like, I had such a dilemma, not a dilemma, but the day that Cara shot 64 in Evian on the Saturday is the easiest fucking job in the world. And a monkey could caddy for her.
Because everything you had done, she was doing.
But it was just...
it was happening.
We'd already played the course 5 days that week already between practice days and the first 2 days. So the line off the tee didn't change unless the wind switched or something. But it was still aiming at that tree. But she hit every shot down on the middle. And then, like, we're going to stay a little bit left of this flag. That'll give us the uphill putt. Boom, into the middle of the green. She doesn't need any help me reading the green. She's good at reading them. So I stand at the side leaning on the flag and she rolls the ball in. Like, fucking easy, you know?
Put in, let's go
and
next.
24 hours later, she turns up and she doesn't eat a great breakfast. And the conversation at breakfast is a bit quiet. And I knew she was just nervous and not feeling great. And you go and do a warm-up. And again, it's kind of... And I'm trying to create a bit of small... I know she's nervous. That's fair enough. You don't want to be overbearing. But you're trying to create a bit of small talk and try and get her to be somewhat loose and somewhat calm. But then her parents are there and there's people coming over saying best of luck and that. People mean well, but it only kind of gets you more on the edge. And if you haven't been in that position before, and then you go out and she hits the first tee shot and wings it into the rough on the right, and then she says to me, "Do you see my hand? Like I'm shaking." I said, "Yeah, that's okay." I said, "Sure, I'd be worried." I kind of made a joke. "I'd be worried about you if you weren't shaking. Come on, to fuck, like, you know, and come on, let's go." And we're grand. Sure, we were up here before, like, and we know exactly from this position, we know exactly where we want to put this ball now. And you're cajoling. You're, like people say, you're a part psychologist. You're a bit of everything, but as easy as the job was for me on Saturday, it was doubly as difficult on Sunday, because no matter what I tried to do, or no matter, like I said, have a certain amount of control, and you try and help and you try and support and I tried to reset or settle at least 4 times in the first 6 holes, and none of those efforts at resettling or resetting worked. Every time she got up, she hit one destructive golf shot per hole, and that meant you weren't going to make par, you were going to make bogey.
There's a serious mental.
And we had a great debrief after. She's mature enough to realise that, you know what, the only way that I can take something forward out of this, other than being disappointed that we ended up finishing 14th, she still won over 100 grand. It's a top 15 in a major is a good result, right? But, you know, she's ambitious enough, and as a professional athlete wants to learn from the ashes as to how are we going to prepare and be different the next time we put ourselves in that? Because I have no doubt, and she's gone a couple of times since, she's good enough to put herself in that position again and again.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to really dig deep and learn from that, you're never really going to learn the answers or improve. So at least she was willing the week after to really open the wounds and look at it and see how would she... Like, she actually said when she finished, and she missed a putt for eagle for 63 on the 18th green on Saturday, and she tapped it in, and the first thing she did as we were walking off the green, she could see her name. At the time we had a 1-shot lead, then the other player came behind and tied us for the lead, but she said she felt sick from that moment on with nerves. Even at 7 o'clock on the Saturday evening, she didn't enjoy. Now imagine not enjoying shooting 64, one of the best rounds of the day, and putting yourself in, like I would have thought, and this is where you're one step removed as a caddy, I would have thought she'd be full of excitement and energy and, you know, what a position to be in. I'm absolutely gagging for this tomorrow. But no, she felt absolutely sick with nerves. So
is that unavoidable? Is that unavoidable?
I think you're always going to have it probably the first, like, there's a reason why Justin Rose missed 26 cuts in a row when he had that brilliant chip in as an amateur in his first year as a pro. There's a reason why Pádraig Harrington found it unbelievably difficult to win his first tournament. He had 15, 16, 18 second places. So you do have to fuck it up a few times before you...
Yeah.
Look at Tommy Fleetwood.
And that was her fuck up as such. So, exactly. So, but the fact that she's willing to go there and try and learn from it, that's the secret sauce. And you just hope that you do get yourself in a similar position, and that you hope that the next time that maybe you can either do things a little bit differently to make a difference. Hey, look, it might take 2 or 3 more times, but it'd be nice to at least be in the position and for both of us to say, do you know what, could we have done things differently? What have we learned? Yeah, look, golf is a never-ending search for perfection, and you wouldn't want to think it's all technical or all swing or all your coach. There's so many facets to it. And that day for her was 100% mental, and it was 100% how her body reacted to that situation. And, you know, that Minjee Lee came on the first tee and shook hands, but she made absolutely no effort on the first 6 holes to talk or say hello or be nice or whatever. She knew she was stepping into the Lions Den as a 2-time major champion. Yeah. And partly she was going to psych my player out of it. Yeah. And she probably did, you know. Yeah,
but that's a side of the game you have to learn as well, 100%,
right? Absolutely. The softest,
mind games, yeah.
You know, the softest thing about you in professional sport has to be your teeth, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, you know, that's about the size of it.
Tell me about your media side. Like, how do you get to go between the ropes every year in the Open?
Yeah, it's nice. There? Yeah, again, I'm a bit of I'm not short in blagging or a bit of confidence. So a pal of mine was doing that gig back in 2019. I knew he'd done it a couple of years previously. He was the lead presenter for the radio coverage for the Open Championship. Yeah. So when obviously the Open was announced to be in Portrush in 2019. I'd finished in Waterford the previous year. I think I was actually working back at home in the pub, and said to the brother, I wouldn't mind going up to Portrush for the week, and I think I'm after wangling an opportunity to go up. So I contacted the guy who basically is a media guy. He was a presenter. And I said to him, look, I'm a golf pro here from the south of Ireland. It's the first time that the Open Championship has been in this island since 1950, whatever it was. Or
ridiculous long time anyway, yeah.
It was a long time. And I said, Jesus, is there any way I could be involved? I'll come up on my own steam and whatever. I just love an opportunity, even if I was part of the team to make the tee or whatever. But I said, I probably feel I would have some input to give if they trusted me to maybe talk golf, you know, as a golf nerd. So anyhow, in fairness to your man, he said it to the producer the following week, and your man said, look, no problem if this lad is a golf professional and has had the podcast for a while at that stage or whatever, or would he like to come up? He said, I've no budget to pay him for the week. He said, I might be able to find a couch in one of they have 4 houses that they'd have. He said, but like, you know, it'd be on his terms, and I can't promise him anything. So I drove up on the Tuesday, went in, met them. Obviously, they'd kind of organised an accreditation that I was part of the team. Yeah. But I'd say your man didn't know what he was getting. They had a preview show on the Wednesday for 2 hours, like in a studio like this, but obviously on site there near the driving range. And it was a preview of talk the golf course, talk the runners and riders for the week and whatever. And I suppose he threw me in on that as a bit of a feeler and do a half an hour in there of that 2 hours. Now, they had their team organised and some proper broadcasters and golf media people or whatever. But obviously, it was able to talk a little bit or whatever. And at the end of the 2 hour preview, he said, look, brilliant today. He said, I'm going to have you out there in the morning. And I was with another broadcaster. So basically, the way they put you out on the golf course is they have what would be called a professional broadcaster who kind of tees up the scenario, and you're then there as the golf commentator, or as they call you, a golf summariser. So the other person will set the scene. We're out here on the 4th fairway, and a beautiful scene. The crowds are 10 deep, and the mountains of Mourne are in the background. And now, Harry, what have we got here? What is Scotty Scheffler got for it? Yeah. And like that first Thursday morning, I think I had Ricky Fowler and Justin Rose or something like that. And I'm thinking, geez, this is mental, like, you know, and you're literally walking inside the ropes, walking down the fairway. Your man wore the big headset in the pack, so I had my yardage book. I had to run off to the 2 balls before they came down to get the yardage or whatever. And over time, you get to know then the people that are there, the guys, the spotters for TV. Yeah. So you walk over to them now, and he actually tells you the yardage. I don't have to do that anymore. But no, look, it's a great gig. And I've done it every year since. It's probably the first week in the calendar that I say, don't care who I'm caddying for, I'm not available that week. I'm taking 1 week where, but it's cool. It's nice to be involved.
Is there a future for you? I know you had a podcast as well, right? Is there a future for you?
I'd love to do a bit more of it. IMG is the media company in London. They do a lot of Formula One. They do the 2 weeks in Wimbledon directly before the week in at the Open every year. Yeah. So them boys have an unbelievably busy 3 week stretch, and I think where golf is brilliant is actually for radio. Golf works really well on radio. You know?
Does it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you'd be surprised. A lot of their listenership was actually, if you go into the golf there at the Open, you can buy a headset for $10 and sit up in the grandstand. Now, unless you're going to walk,
that's a winner.
Unless you're going to walk the 18 holes with Rory McIlroy, you're only going to see Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
Or if you sit behind the third green and watch 10 groups come through, you're only going to see the third green. But and I think the way they do the coverage, they're an unbelievable company. But the way that they do it and the mix of voices that they have American broadcasters, they have Irish, Scottish, or whatever. They pull it all together very well. They have people out on the course, they have people in the studio, and it actually works. Like I said, radio is a brilliant medium for golf. It really works well. I'd love if they could do some more. They do Ryder Cups, but they only do the home Ryder Cups in Europe. Steve, the guy that's the producer, he's always looking for funding now with some of these elevated events, or if the DP world kind of gets back to having some of these, what they used to have, Rolex events. Yeah. He's looking to see, can he get funding to do more and more of these things. Okay. But at the moment, it's a 1 week a year gig. But look, I'm not polished at it. I know golf. I can talk about golf. But some of these other broadcasters, they'd buy and sell you because they do it, 40 weeks a year. Yeah. But it would be something if there was an opportunity. I'd love to. Yeah, no, it's great.
Touch.
It is great. And you do savage hours. Like they come on air at 6:30 in the morning until 8:30 at night.
Doesn't matter.
I wouldn't get tired
like
of
what I do now. I do it for nothing. It honestly, and loads of people say to me, "Oh, you're doing it again," or they'd see that you're up there, and how lucky are you to do that? Like I'd pay to actually do it. And they pay me.
That's crazy.
So
that's crazy to say that, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
No, it's like us here in Amplify, we pay a fortune to do this every week. The last question I have for you is, tell me the story about the word confidence.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Who told you this one? Yeah, great story, actually. So me, Hang Lee, the first player, the Korean girl. So when I went out there and I was winging it for the first few weeks. Anyhow, we were winging it anyhow. And the last tournament of that year, even though she pretty much had lost her card, but the last tournament of that year, didn't she have a great second round? And she shot 63 in Pelican, a place down in Florida. And I thought, Jesus Christ, maybe she's going to pull it out of the bag in the last tournament of the year to keep her card. So anyhow, second round 63 on Friday. We're out in the final group on Saturday with Leona Maguire, as it happened. And Leona was not that long out on tour in America. She hadn't won at this stage, actually. So about 3 weeks previously, the Korean culture is that the dad is the absolute power figure in the family, right? So she wasn't having a good year. I've come on the bag. Like I said, I'm winging it a little bit, but she's just not playing great golf anyhow. The father has been obviously the strong influence in her golf career all her life, and he's trying everything and anything to try and see can he turn her fortunes. A la Porry Carrington, put that tennis ball under your arm, and he was trying everything he could to try and see. Yeah. So anyhow, he came up with this ingenious idea on the practice round that she wasn't exuding unbelievable confidence or whatever, and he came up with the idea, and unfortunately I was the gobshite that had to do it, but he said, look, you need to tell her just before she takes the club away, say the word confidence, right?
Swing.
This on a practice round, like on a random Tuesday or whatever, right? And you're out there and it's a bit embarrassing, right? You're out there with other players. You pitch up on the practice tee and you could be playing with Nelly Corda, like there's no, it's whoever arrives, right? So here am I on a practice round. And initially it was off the tee because she wasn't driving it well. So, okay, on the front nine of a practice round, I have to say it 7 times, not too bad, right? So, and funny enough, to my detriment, or not detriment, but to my shock, it was actually working. She's starting driving the ball better. So the father came up with the idea that not only will we do it on the driver, we'll do it on every shot. So I went from doing it 7 times in 9 holes to doing it 38 times on full shots, not on putts, in a round of golf. Anyhow, so she plays the fantastic round, and I'm staying in a house that week with Dermot Byrne, who's a great friend of mine, caddy for Shane Lowry for 9 years, caddy for Leona there at that time, and had great success with Leona. But I'm staying in an Airbnb with him, and obviously we see the draw. We're out in the last group, the two of us together. And he said, "It's great." He said, "You're only out here 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and you're already mixing it with the big boys, you know."
Yeah.
And I kind of felt so self-conscious about this. I said, I better tell him tonight that, like, I have to say this thing, like, you know. So I said, "Dermot, you won't believe this. I have to say the word confidence literally before she pulls the club away." And I said, like, it's a bit fucking weird and a bit embarrassing. I don't think it makes any difference. But funny enough, since we started doing it, she's playing a bit better. And in fairness, I think he was trying to be nice to me. He kind of washed it off pretty quick. And he said, "I'm caddying 20 years, Harry. I've seen some mad shit." So he said, "You don't worry about that," or whatever, right? Yeah. So anyhow, we get up in the tee the next day, and I'll never forget it. There's a small little grandstand on the right-hand side of the first tee at Pelican. Probably fits 100 people in it, right? But there's plenty of people standing along the rope line anyhow, and the two of us are on the tee, and you're getting your bib on and making sure you have your pin sheet. And I'm feeling a little bit nervous. You're out in the final group, you know? So anyhow, Leona gets up, and she's announced on the tee, and big claps and whatever, and she rips one down the middle or whatever, and that's grand. And they come back to the side of the tee box, and my girl gets up. And I'm obviously, like I said, I'm a bit nervous, right? There's lots going on, and there's lads putting up "quiet please" signs and the whole lot. And anyhow, she takes the tee in the ground and has the ball club down behind the ball, and I left it a little bit too fucking late, like, you know. She was literally nearly pulling the club away, when obviously I pipe up with confidence, you know. And you could fucking see people in the grandstand going, who the hell said that? There's the "quiet please" sign is up. So anyhow, she hits it down the middle or whatever, and just as we're walking off the tee, I'm putting the bag up my back, and Leona and Dermot are walking off the tee, and they're absolutely pissing themselves laughing at, like, this is fucking ridiculous that this poor chap has to say this. But I'll never forget it. And for about a year after, I was kind of known as confidence, you know what I mean? But yeah, the things you do to keep players happy, and the things you do when you have very controlling Korean parents, you know what I mean?
Brilliant. That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's good.
We've come to a part where, Harry, we do quick fire questions, right?
Oh, lovely.
No, quick fire questions brought to us by Sneaky Sessions, the Carlow legends making noise all over Europe, from events to DJing to production bangers. We're actually in the college this week. They do it with serious vibes. Check them out, Sneaky Sessions on Instagram. No prep, no warning.
These are brilliant. I love these.
Right,
Right, here we go.
Go on.
Favourite course you've ever played?
Wow, Pebble Beach.
Oof. Oh, wow, Pebble Beach.
Favourite course you ever caddied?
Congressional, outside of Washington, where Rory won his first major.
Oh,
2011.
wow.
Yeah, proper golf course, that one.
Brilliant.
Unbelievable golf course.
Best golfer you shared a fairway with?
Oh,
John Barry's not in this question now.
Has to be Nelly Corda. Yeah.
Did you Nelly Corda?
Yeah, caddied with her in Florida maybe 2 years ago now. Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
class.
Yeah. You know, she was top class then. She's probably even better now. But yeah, Nelly Corda, I'd say.
Driver or putter, which gives you more joy?
Putter, I would say. Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
Not like walking on in, is it?
Driving for sure, putting for the
Walk or buggy?
Oh, walk, always.
Disagree. Oh, yeah, continue.
Links or Parkland?
Links.
Links, man.
Yeah, I had this conversation with someone today.
What do you
Obviously,
think?
like people. I read an article this morning. I thought it was a bit harsh about. Won't go on about it too long now about the K Club and about the success of the Irish Open, and obviously Rory winning, amazing and whatever. And the article was kind of going down a road of that, you know, if Rory didn't win it, the Irish Open would be on its knees, kind of thing, and that you know we're having it in Parkland courses when we've a lot more to show and sell in our links courses. But I suppose the problem, not the problem with that, but like obviously the likes of Lahinch was very successful. John Ram won there, but if you start bringing it to, and like Ross's Point would be a fantastic golf course, spot, but again, like, can you bring it up to the northwest of the country? And they all, I think the reason they get sucked into Carton House and get sucked into the K Club, and they kind of feel like it, for its success, it has to be probably close-ish to Dublin, or like Fota was successful back in the day down in Cork, but they probably feel they can't really bring it to, like, it'll never be in. Probably, well, I won't say never, but it's unlikely maybe to be in Ballybunion again, which again would be a shame. Is it for Irish Open in Waterville? Not going to happen.
No,
you know?
Is it for the punter though? Is it for the punter rather than the player?
It's the only location rather than course, isn't it, Harry?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like if you like, it should be on a rotational basis between Portrush, Royal County Down, Waterville, Ballybunion, Lahinch. You know, we could.
Would the old head do it?
Continue. Yeah, probably, but I don't quite think the old head is up to the standard, as in for 18 pure holes of links golf. It's a great course to walk around and to look over the cliff and whatever, but Yeah, Tralee, but again, infrastructure is a big word. It probably just wouldn't be able to do it, which is a shame. But for me, back to your question, links all day. I think it's unreal.
Are the best courses in Ireland links?
I think so. Yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah.
Portrush is definitely the best I played on the island.
Yeah. But I equally last week there again hear people saying, and Rory mentioned about his close shave in Royal County Down last year. Like people, I need to get back and play Royal County Down. I haven't played it in a long number of years, but people would still actually put that ahead of Portrush. The only drawback they say is that you have a few blind tee shots, which on a true golf course you shouldn't be hitting over a barber's pole. But the setting and the mountains around Royal County Down, it's a very close call between the two of them, Portrush and Royal County Down.
Is a Dare Manor too big for an Irish Open?
In what way?
After the Ryder Cup and it's over.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
That'll be.
What do you mean by too big? Too popular?
No, is it too big of a course? It's like it's hosting the Ryder Cup.
As in size?
It'll be.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
What year is that Ryder Cup?
27. It's coming around pretty quick now. Literally 2 years away.
May get tickets for that.
You're not in the plan, bud. You stick to the omelets.
And we won't dwell. How raucous is this Ryder Cup going to be?
It's going to be mental.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Will be.
New Yorkers.
Yeah,
but they've even stepped up the production. Even the announcement to the team and that. Like they've taken it to a whole different level.
But you know what I think is a major trump card? And how many? Is there two different players? One different player in the European team?
Yeah, one. Yeah.
One?
Yeah, that's right. One brother for the other brother.
Yeah. Unbelievable, that is.
Yeah.
I think it's going to...
Did you see Matt Wallace's interview?
I did, yeah.
Break your heart.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It just shows you.
Talk about what it means to you.
Yeah, no, absolutely, 100%.
That Ryder Cup is brilliant.
It will be.
Well,
I think it'll be...
Ask the question, boys.
Have they a chance?
Yeah, question for you. World Cup final or Ryder Cup?
I'd be World Cup all day long.
Yeah, I'd be. I've never been to an away
You don't have to
Ryder
answer
Cup.
it. You don't have to answer
I'd probably, but again, I'd probably be
conversational.
Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
I've been to 4 home Ryder Cups.
Yeah.
I've never been to an away one. I'm hoping to be there in 3 weeks' time.
I actually watched
yet to be fully confirmed, but
We have sources.
I'd say it'll be unbelievable. It might boil over. It probably will boil over.
I love watching it. I'd often put it on there if we're having. I watched Medina there yesterday.
It's ridiculous.
The
Have they a chance of winning?
100%.
Europe.
It's very difficult, though, isn't it?
Very difficult, yeah. When is the last time they won in America, Harry?
The Miracle in Medina. Yeah.
12? Yeah.
12, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And before that, you're going back even further, a long time.
Did they not win since Medina in America? I'm sure they did.
No, they didn't. No. Well, 16.
No, they won in 07, didn't they? Didn't they win Langer's year? Montgomery had a brilliant chip at the back. Remember, he chipped off the green into the rough and back onto the green.
Yes,
that 07, was it?
Yeah, I think it was 07. Was a missed year
well,
because
no, 06 was the K Club.
Yeah.
08 Fallow did it, so they didn't win then. 04
was
Langer, I think you're right.
That's the last
but anyhow, the record hasn't been great, and it's just notoriously difficult to go over there and win.
Yeah.
Like, the Americans are no mug team either now.
Did you see the t-shirt looking like Rory?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
See? Looks like the Americans are wearing a golf t-shirt.
They brought out this kind of t-shirt
it's very, very similar to
and the silhouette looks like
the way he comes through the border and the way he takes
I heard he was interviewed there today and he said it could be me or it could be Adam Scott, but he said it does look like me.
Mind games.
They get a dig already, yeah.
I remember
they're turning up the volume, man.
I remember the Faldo one. I remember he was seen with the picture holding a piece of paper with the parents on it.
Oh yeah,
and someone asked him about it and he goes, no, that was a sandwich order for lunch.
yeah.
He was caught rotten.
Best Irish course outside the big names.
Jeez, that's a good question. Best Irish course outside of the big names that people would have heard about or whatever.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's hard now because if to Z out all of those places, it mightn't be. Yeah, hold on now. It mightn't be the best Irish course, but maybe somewhere that I like. We'll change it a little bit. Somewhere that I like going to, and I might say to someone, little personal favourite.
Yeah.
See again the likes of. So it can't be a marquee course.
No.
Well, one that's not held a major event, if you want to call it that way.
Yeah. This is difficult now. Like, this would be on a more basic level now. But I think the likes of Wooden Bridge or Arklow, they'd be two golf courses that I'd get in the car tomorrow morning and drive to play, right?
Yeah.
And then if I go over a little bit more Let's go over a little bit more west, like Ballybunion has. Waterville has Waterville. Yeah, Waterville would have had Irish Opens way back in the day, but hasn't. Waterville is a great track.
It's a super track, yeah.
That is an unbelievable golf course.
I didn't like Dukes though.
Yeah, I've only played there once.
Bog standard.
Believe it or not.
Give me your one between Carlow-Kilkenny and Waterford.
Carlow-Kilkenny and Waterford. Sure, it'd have to be Carlow. Carlow's a serious track, like.
Carlow's a savage track.
Carlow, like, I said it to one of the girls actually at the weekend, or maybe one of the caddies was asking me, where do I play, or when I get home, do I play much golf? And don't play much golf anymore, funny enough. It's amazing how when you don't play a whole lot of golf, it's not that I've lost the love for playing the game, but when you don't play a whole lot and you don't have a whole lot of time to play, now I go out and think like you, Podge, my expectations are way down there. And that's okay. Once I have low expectations, I'm not going to disappoint myself. Carlow's a serious test insofar as a par 70, only 2 par 5s, small targets, small greens. And when that place is playing kind of, firm and fast maybe in the summertime, or the rough is up or whatever, it's as good a test as you'll get. Like, we would have always thought, going back over the last 25 years, as you have done, if you can get to a good level and play to scratch or something pretty close to scratch around Carlow, you will be a match for any other scratch golfer in this country. And that, I think, still rings true today.
They used to say that in the whole handicap system, if you're a scratch in Carlow or a +1, you're probably a 3 or 4 somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a 2 or 3,
Because Carlow would be regarded as a very good test.
You play senior cup matches there, Podge, and young lads are coming to hit a 3-iron outside my driver. But they can't, honest to God, they just can't get the greens how small they are.
Yeah.
The miss is ultra penal, like. When it's hard and bouncy, fast greens and rough is up a small bit, but great course.
No, it is a great course. Yeah, it is. We're lucky that we have it on our doorstep and we grew up playing out there. You know what I mean?
Dream foursome. Anyone living or dead?
Jesus Christ, dream foursome. We'd have to put Colin Montgomery in there, because when I was growing up, he was my little idol.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he never won a major.
I know, and I cried more times when he didn't. Like when Ernie Els beat him that time in Congressional, actually, in 97.
Yeah.
I remember crying that day. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Fuck. I was watching a lot of golf back then.
Did your man Ogilvy check him another time?
Yeah, that's Ogilvy. Right. That was 2006.
Was it?
Yeah,
Mr. Wedge.
Mickelson should have won that. Harrington should have won that. But Monty really should have won it. He
serial winner on the seniors tour, though, right?
Yeah.
European record, the whole series, whatever the cut.
Yeah. Rory's chasing that now. They said he nearly has it won now with winning there this week, but he'll go to Dubai last tournament of the season to go for his, I'm going to say maybe 6th, I think. Monty won 8 of them. Order of merits. It's probably one of the very few little things that Rory still is looking to tick off. And if you remember when he was interviewed on the final green last year in Dubai, when he won his last one, he got very emotional about the fact about what winning these season-long trophies mean to him. So he still has. He's not done yet. Like it's funny. We think achieving what he did.
In him, I think.
Well, there is,
there is, for sure. Yeah.
Monty.
Monty.
Papa
and John Barry. You couldn't go wrong there. And a couple of points after.
Toughest hole you've ever faced?
Oh, toughest hole. Jesus.
18th and Greg pitch and putt.
Yeah, a couple of times when you'd be under the cosh. Toughest hole. That's a great question too. That's a great question.
So many tough holes in.
You know, a hole I used to love playing, but it was a proper, seriously good, strong par 4, was the 13th hole in Drew's Glen. Dogleg right. You were hit after the par 3 is their iconic hole, the 12th.
Yeah.
And then the 13th, you go back. Now, when I used to be playing it, and I used to play it off the back of the back tees. Like, anytime we went up there, when I was a trainee pro or whatever, we always went up there. We got a free game of golf, which was lovely, and we teed off the very back stakes.
Yeah.
And you had to wing one over the corner of a bit of a kind of a rock face or a cliff out to a narrow enough fairway, and even from there then you did a 4-iron to the green to a very narrow entrance.
Water on the left. Yeah.
And it's not one of the toughest golf holes out there, but I always felt on that hole you had to hit 2 absolutely pure golf shots.
Yeah, absolutely.
And back in the day when maybe you weren't using drivers, that you were driving a 320, it was a driver and a 4-iron. Yeah. Maybe if you went and played it in the morning, it'd be a driver and an 8-iron.
You wouldn't know. Yeah,
that's what golf technology has done. But
I'd ask you the same one with a par 3.
Par 3, probably Calamity up in Portrush.
16.
Yeah, that's playing into the prevailing wind. Like,
I think that one. I was going to say that one.
Yeah.
or the one is it early on in Ballybunion, down the hill? It's a long one now.
Oh, yes.
Third hole?
Yeah, that's right. Third or fourth, is it? Or, yeah,
golf.
yeah.
Like if it's downwind, you could go outbound to the back.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Two big moats in front of you.
Yeah.
It's hard to get onto the green and you're hitting off the height, but you've got a 5 in your hand.
But then you've some of the best holes, like the year before, last year's 2024 Open Championship, Royal Troon, postage stamp.
Yeah.
And I remember they sent me out there one day on maybe a practice day, and they said, look, go out with that microphone there and go to the postage stamp and just get a bit of the atmosphere and what groups are coming through. And the lads will be relaxed on a Tuesday, like, and you might grab one of them down the bunker and ask them, what are the nuances of playing this hole or whatever. But like, what a magic little hole. They can have it as short as 95 yards up to 120, and like 120. It doesn't need to be long to be tough. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
So,
there's a lot of damage.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Brilliant.
Most underrated golfer on tour right now?
Probably some of the ones that go under the radar and maybe don't quite have the profile that some of the top guys do. A guy that we kind of love to hate and we'll be waving our hat at him in the Ryder Cup, Patrick Cantlay, maybe someone like that. It's usually I think the guys that I really respect the most, they're not underrated really, but I think if you think about professional golf, and I think the longevity of both Justin Rose's and Adam Scott's career, because they're the same age that I am, that to me is unbelievable what them boys do. Like Adam Scott and Justin Rose have been at the very top of the game for over 20 years.
And punching as well, right?
And what Justin Rose has done this year, like, is...
The women in America in Augusta were like looking at Adam Scott walking by.
Yeah.
My God, when God made him, that took her time. He was like, he's a model walking around the place.
An Adonis.
An Adonis.
Yeah. What a golf swing, though.
Yeah. But underrated golfers, I don't know. There's probably not too many of them that are under, like, the talent is so good now. Like, if you're, especially if you make it to the PGA Tour, the money that they're playing for and the level that it is just to get out there and try and stay out there. Yeah. Like, lads will be thinking to be handy golfers playing off 4 and 5 or whatever. The women on the LET have put golf out most lads' brains. You know what I mean? So there's different levels, you know.
Go-to club under pressure.
Go-to club under pressure. Just, it probably wouldn't be the short game now. You tend to lose the short game when you're not playing. Usually pretty good with the driver. Putter, probably, yeah. Love putting. I've never ever complicated putting, and sometimes you'd be caddying out there and you'd be looking at your player and they'd be fucking aim pointing this and measuring this.
Back of the hole.
You'd be kind of saying, fuck's sake, like, it's not that hard. Just like you can read the green, but there's a whole industry has been created around. Oh yeah, just I'm talking about around gimmicks and aim point and this coach and that coach. And at the end of the day, like, you know, there's a skill in reading the green, and I hope someday they do ban it.
Did you see the training aid for putting? Well, lately, no. It's like an inflatable mattress.
Really?
Right? So not that you have just a normal, say, indoor putting green, roll it out when you practice a few putts. Now it's on air.
Really?
Right? Yeah. And there's a platform where you stand and you can put more air on one side than the other, so you have to read the green. So
I've had enough of listening to that.
And you can let it out.
Next question.
I swear to God.
It's
nuts.
No, but you see it out on tour, and again, the best putters tend to keep it the simplest. They're probably the ones that don't fiddle around with their putting grip or their putters hugely, and they keep it very simple. Like, it's not that hard to kneel down behind the ball or else go the far side of the hole, or sometimes you can read a putt better from maybe side on to kind of see is there a bit of a, and at the end of the day, what your eyes and your instinct will tell you. The maddest thing, and we'll finish on this one, is that whole industry of aim point and whatever. And while I understand it, and obviously I've worked with players that really believe in it and trust it, but the maddest thing in the world is when you can see a player standing either side of a putt from as little as 2 feet with their feet like that and trying to feel and close their eyes and their feet where the putt is. And the same person when you're walking behind them walking to the next tee, you can quite clearly see that the way they wear the heels on their shoes, they walk inwards on their feet. So like, you're telling me that
it makes no difference.
You know what I mean? You know, and if you're going to miss, you might as well miss it quick. You know what I mean?
Guinness or a glass of red after a round?
Oh, a glass of red, yeah.
Was like always,
I've gone very... My palate is...
little swirler.
My palate is very mature, you know.
78 was a way.
I'm not a great drinker, so I'll go with the glass of red.
Do you like a drink?
I do take a drink. I'm not a big drinker. Never was. I was always a green bottles man, little bottle of Heineken, because I could kind of spit back in as much as I was drinking out, you know.
That bottle's always
I've
full.
matured to a glass of wine now, but Yeah, don't drink a whole lot. In my game, you can't be turning up.
No.
Jeez, you can't.
Favorite golfing city you've travelled to?
Oh, great question. Golfing city. So everything, the golf course and the whole atmosphere around the place.
Course is just outside the city. Can't wait to get into the city for a bit of crack.
It has to be St Andrews, really, because that is golf mecca and golf heaven.
It is, but it's full of Harry Potters, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it is. It's full of Harry Potters.
What do you mean Harry Potters?
I went over there and played it with all the boys, Richie and all that, and all I seen, because Richie said, Maestro, we're going up to town. I said, okay, and I said, looking at Richie, 6 foot fucking 11, river, he's bald head, big green Parker jacket, and then going, we go up to this place, and there's golf shops everywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
Like Turkish barbers, there's golf shops over there, right? And all of a sudden, then we're in this place, all the pubs are quiet. We're just next time we went up to this place, a little bit livelier up here. Maestro said,
right,
Blazers. Oh, I said, these are fucking Harry Potters. Right? If you remember the what do you call it?
Wingardium
Leviosa. And all you could see in the nightclub then was Richie's big head, and he was just double vodkas and making family size, please. Let's go on. Yeah, brilliant. But that is just, it's full of golf shops, and it's a great city to go in. Yeah, but it's a bit nerdy, like, for me.
I think where else in Ireland anyhow, Lahinch was great. The week of and maybe obviously the week of the Irish Open being in town, but to have the golf course literally right in the town or in the village, like the atmosphere down there that week was amazing. Like Lahinch is a lovely area. It's a nice place.
I played it once, and it was absolutely blown again.
Yeah, really.
And we were down with all the lads, and as you know, Mark Hughes is on his game is on the phone, right? Whatever he does, he's making his few pound in it. Yeah. But he hit this shot, and if you know the par 5, Harry, it's downwind, right? And there's a big mound, and your man is there with a flag.
Oh, that's right. Where you can't see. Yeah,
green to go.
Yeah,
red you can't.
Right. Yeah.
So he scuttles the second shot, tops it.
Right.
So the man said, lads, this is our last group on the course. Come on, follow through. So we were like, grand, okay. And he said it to Phil around the shot. Will you go up and give me a line on the top of the mound? So he goes, yes. So he went up the hill. Yeah, there you are. So he ran up 3/4 way up the hill, put his phone on the hill. Yeah, hit it over my phone. Yeah, little wedge or something like that. Bone the wedge. Straight into the middle of the phone. Smashed the phone and shite. Next time I said, where the fuck? He had to get into the phone to make his deal with end of the round. But that was a memory of Lahinch, It's a great little golf course.
But Augusta, definitely not. There's nothing in Augusta.
I couldn't believe that.
Absolute shithole.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Oh, you remember telling me that,
And it's getting worse now because our old haunt that we used to go to for a bit of crack and a few pints, Hooters, that's even gone because Hooters will be taken over. But that would be golf
Papa Tars and Weatherspoons.
Be golf mecca for the week because all the lads will be going into the golf and whatever beers, and you're right outside the front gate. It goes to great crack and the energy and the buzz in the place. Like that Wednesday afternoon, you haven't had as good a Wednesday since, and you won't for a while yet. You know,
you wonder why Augusta don't take control of the area though.
Well, that's what the actual sad thing about it. I better cover the badge here while I'm saying this. The sad thing about it is they're basically buying up every business and every house and everything. So basically what they're doing is they're clearing it for either extra car parks or they're going to build hospitality houses that they can use for corporate. So they're changing the animal that is Augusta into a more corporate. Even people are saying, like Eamon, my buddy that has the badge, he'll be okay. But the amount of badge holders that when that badge falls out of his possession, when he passes or his wife passes, and it does eventually go back to the club, that will never go back out to a random punter again. That will go into corporate. And the reason Hooters is closed down or whatever, Augusta are buying up all that land and all that property. They're basically offering it.
But sure, they'll put in their own hospitality into it. And
they will, but unfortunately, it's going to freeze out the guy who'd like to go and experience.
There's going to be no dive bars in it.
There'll be no nothing in it. It'll be corporate.
The town of Augusta was like, I couldn't believe it. Everywhere is locked up. And
you don't go there.
We went to this pub once. We had 2 beers in it, I think, and all I seen was eyes blinking. Couldn't see anything else in it.
Yeah.
Like sort of rolls and everything.
Yeah. No, you don't. It's not. Look, it's the best week of the year as regards the golf tournament, but you're not going there for anything else. No, it's not.
Last one, Har. Yardage book or instinct?
Great question. The one bad thing about I say a bad thing, like we're allowed to use the lasers on the women's tour.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, they're trialling it for a few tournaments on the men's tour at the moment. But you can be a bad caddy and have a laser. It kind of takes the skill and the art to a certain extent. Now, don't get me wrong, when my player wings it off the planet and you're struggling to get an out yardage, it's very easy to have a laser or whatever, right? Yeah. But it kind of takes away some of the tools that a good caddy has. And it gives more reasons for players to kind of think that they can nearly do without a caddy because they can laser the pin themselves.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
the yardage books have got so detailed now that literally we have nearly every number in the yardage book that you could want, you know. And again, it's another reason why some players will feel that they can have their mum or dad caddying. Now, at the end of the day, coming down the stretch, or if you need to make the cut, or you need to win a tournament, you know, the better caddies end up showing up and really show their value in those moments. But sometimes you can't be, like, Papa, your question, when you're trying to judge wind or you're trying to judge a ball that's sitting in the rough, you can have your yardage book all you want and your distance, but you're
looking at that going, it's an
you're dealing with a player that's flowing with confidence or hitting the ball with adrenaline, or so that's the beauty about golf. It's never an exact science. Every day you go out is a completely different exam.
It's on the moment, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you could rock up as we did to Houston last week. They had heavy rain on the weekend. The golf course was like an absolute bog on Tuesday, first practice round. But because of the heat and the humidity, it was a completely different golf course by the time the first round came around. And you have to react to that ball releasing out on the green and all the different variances that are in golf, which is brilliant because no 2 days are the same then.
No, it's
That's
brilliant.
what makes the job
last one on that, Harry, is when you're on the green on a Thursday, are all the pins marked for the next day?
No,
and Friday for Saturday and Saturday for Sunday?
Yeah, they do, exactly. So if you're lucky enough to be out late in the Pro-Am on the Wednesday afternoon, you'll usually find the dots if you're out late
for the flags,
for the next day. And then, they have to be fair to the full field, they have to have the dot out before the first person plays on Thursday.
Which is only fair,
so that you can see then. So while, I've worked for players who unbelievably rely on you on the greens. Cara, my current player, doesn't. So when she's putting, I'm already off. People in the stand are looking at me, must be thinking, what's that lad doing? He's wandering around with his head down at the back of the green.
He's looking for maggots. He must be going fishing.
Literally looking for the dot. And it's one thing to find out where the pin position is. They send out an email the night before. But if I've already seen the dot, I can step and say, it is 5 yards from the back. And it's actually 3 over that slope. But funny enough, that slope isn't in the yardage book because they don't put every minute detail into it. And when I'm standing on the dot and I look left, right and centre and say, where would I like to place a golf ball right now for her to have the nicest putt to this pin? As in, not downhill, not with too much slope on it. Maybe give her one that's slightly up the hill or flat, or you know what? The pin is at the back, but actually the miss is miss this green long, because your chip from just over the back is way easier than being on the front of the green where you have to come up a tier and whatever, and you'd be left with a devil of a putt or whatever.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Spotting the pins and spotting the dots is actually hugely valuable.
Brilliant.
It is,
Well done, Har. Brilliant information there.
Thank you, boys. A pleasure. Enjoyed it.
We're not done yet. Papa's modelling our new top there. Which camera is best for Papa to see this? Stand up there, Papa.
Nice,
Jesus Christ.
Stand up there. Do a wheelie. There's our new top.
Yeah.
Massive shout out to JF Sports.
Yeah. JF, a very good golfer. Very good, still a very good golfer. I see he's back playing a bit of golf there, JF.
Thanks so much for support.
Active
Jeff.
on a Wednesday with the usual 4-ball.
Yeah.
They're for sale, 150 each. Lads, don't forget we have our website up and going, howishe.ie. We're going to have newsletters on it. I just want to give massive thanks to the team here, the content creators, the producers, Amplify, Paddy, James, Ash, and the whole lot. Thanks very, very much. And that's it, basically. That time in the episode, Papa, Shannon's Curveball. Shannon's Curveball is sponsored by brew.ie. That's brew, BREWWW, your go-to place for website design, marketing, content creation. Craig Carney, safest hands in Carlow. Unbelievable. Papa, we do get to partner with some savage businesses, don't we?
Lucky guys.
Check them out, lads. They're very good. Check them out or check out Greg Carney. That's brew.ie, BREWWW. Papa, let's roll the dice. It is Shannon's Curveball. Potentially becoming the most popular segment.
Oh.
Popular enough, in fact, that Shannon might replace us.
TJ to use the microphone properly first. And then
the Ryanair one, I meant to say it to you last week, the Ryanair one actually went down, like, quite a lot of lads contacted me over.
Really? Saying what though?
Did that actually happen, man? I'm like, that actually happened.
I went home to try. After we filmed it, I went home to tell my family about it, and I was trying to do the actions of you in the cubicle.
Imagine me in like a hot press. You know what I mean? It's like putting a heifer in the fucking microwave.
Right, are you ready for this week's question?
Yeah.
You have a time machine. Marty McFly, is that his name from Back to the Future?
Yeah.
He has come with his, whatever it is, the car, right?
DeLorean.
Yes. He's bringing you either back in time or to the future. You only get one. So you can go back or you can go to the future. Where are you going?
Do you have to?
Wow.
Yeah.
Look, the obvious answer is I'd go back to last Saturday with lottery numbers, isn't it? Right?
Okay, well let's take let's not go for the obvious one.
If I want to go forward in my life, is there a limit I can go?
It's up to you. But you can't come back.
But
so you can go to your 80, but you can't come back to like how old
so
you're
I'm
now.
not going forward because I've too much to leave behind, right, with family and friends and my wife and things like that. So I'd never go forward. Right?
Okay.
Because the doubt in your mind that, well, if I go forward 20 years and everyone's dead. Right? So I wouldn't do that. That's a bit...
It's okay.
It's a bit
Have you got tissue for him there, Pop?
Yeah. This segment's sponsored by Kleenex, where Paul blows his nose and wipes his eyes. No, I'd go back to a time when, for me personally, when I started secondary school.
Oh, go on.
And I'd have a serious conversation with myself about sorting out your life.
Okay.
Not necessarily at first year, but definitely when I was...
more seriously.
Yeah, definitely when I was 16. Like, I would have seen a lot of people around me be seriously intelligent.
Yeah.
And it never shed it to me, like they were doing really well. And I'm like, can't wait to go into the hall. Or can't wait to start an apprenticeship.
Okay.
I would have went back to a time...
The kind of attitude like, I'll be grand.
Yeah, I should look, once people laugh at what I say in school and class and things like that, everything's going to be...
Do you not think you were grand, though? You have a grand job, you have a grand wife.
Do
you not think you worked out grand?
How I got my job as a podcast in itself. Let me tell you that.
Okay, right. All right.
You're looking at a guy here who got about 45 pints as leaving cert.
Okay.
That's 35 more than me, I'd say, yeah.
But anyway, but the other thing I would yeah, I'd probably go back to 17-year-old Podge in 5th or 6th year and
but you can't go back to this day Podge. You have to live your life again as 70. You're happy enough to do that.
But see, also by going back then, I'd know what's popular now, right? So I'd know that coffee's going to become a big trend in 15 years, so get a coffee.
You're ahead of the years, yeah.
I also know who wins the Champions League every year from now, so go make a few bob back in there, right?
I
also know that podcast's going to become a big thing, because I can't master it now, but if I started a bit earlier, I might be able to master it. So I'd go back.
Okay, Fab. What about you?
Definitely go back.
You're both going back. Okay, what era of Papa's life are you going back to?
And going back to when my dad was alive, I wanted to see him, and my mum was in around 15, 16, 17. See what she was like. See if I have any traits that she has, or he has.
Oh,
but you have to stay there though, bud.
Yeah, but I want to see them. It's just, you like to see that. Like you want to go back to the past or into the future, and you're like, yeah, I'd like to go back and see. Did I do that? Do I do things in my life that they did in their life?
Yeah.
So curious about that.
Yeah.
Like I look at my mother all the time, even sitting at home, and like she might laugh at the same thing as me, or not laugh at the same thing as me.
Yeah.
Or find this funny, or laugh at whatever it is, or she'd be particular in a certain thing that she does. And just what traits did I learn? But I'd like to see what they were like when they met.
Yeah.
I love that, Papa.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's just, I'd be so
like their story. Yeah. Oh, stop. Yeah. That's so cute. Yeah. I didn't expect that answer.
You, Shannon, your answer is a lot of pressure on your answer, because both of us went very deep there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is kind of 70% comedy based, 30% sports based podcast.
Yeah, but it's a great question.
It's a great question. But she has to make us laugh, no, Papa.
I can make you laugh.
You've got to lighten it.
Yeah.
You've got to lighten it. Pop is like a Christmas Carol going back to the
spice. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you know what I always said though?
Shannon, when you do this, just put music on the background, will you?
Oh yeah, just like the little sad music.
What's that
the
called?
violins.
You know what that's called?
Yeah.
What?
Adrian's Orb.
Yeah, you were asked to home here last week and you couldn't, so don't be starting.
Adrian's Orb. You'll know when you get married, you know what it's called.
Okay, right, yeah. So in 30 years maybe. Anyway. There made you laugh, you're all right now.
Yeah.
So I always said, right, you know those like really olden times, obviously before any of us were here, like when they go around in horse and carriage and like I would love to have been alive in those times. Obviously there was a lot of
the dresses and all that crap.
I think or like, you know, the Bridgerton times.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been around in them times. Like royalty, imagine seeing or I'm obsessed with like castles, because I'm like, imagine the princesses and like people who lived, the royalties who lived in here and how they lived. And like, you know what, all those like
people waiting on them hand and foot.
I just think that's mad. Or like the dramas that used to happen in like the servants' quarters and all this stuff. I used to think it's mad. Anyway, I wouldn't go back to them because I wasn't born then. But I think
there's so many things you can go back to though.
I think that's so interesting. I go back to when I was I had the best childhood. Like, I was the most spoiled little child ever.
Would never got that, no.
No, oh my, I was, right? The most, I used to have my dresses made for me.
You're only girl, right?
Yeah.
The dress is made for me.
Yeah. I was 2 years of age. My mammy would go to the tailors and have my dresses made for me.
Wow.
There was no, and like, you know, like little frilly knickers to go over the nappies. Like, I was, and I used to ruin them all because I never learned to crawl properly. I used to scoot on my arse. So she'd pay to get these frilly knickers done and I'd ruin them on her. But I think I go back, obviously I don't have much memory of it, but I just like, I can just tell I was so happy. I was so spoilt. I would go back to my childhood where I didn't have any worries and everything. I was waited on hand and foot. I go back to then.
3 of us said we'd go back.
Yeah.
Here's my follow-on question.
Okay.
You can bring back one item with you. What would you bring back?
Oh.
So I'm going back to around 2000. I'm going back to around 99 in my life, right?
Okay.
You're going back to Bridgerton, right? Let's just say that.
Okay, yeah.
My child. And you're going back to early 70s?
Yeah. No phones. Happy days.
What are you bringing back with you? That's a great question, isn't it?
You can't call your own question a great question.
Well, no, none of you would do it.
Chocolate, yeah. I'm biting his arm here beside me.
I'm so clever.
What could you bring back with you? Jesus, that you have now in the current day.
Because, like, if you think about it, if you go back to them and say, look, we can do video calling here. Like, you'd be in St. Dipness. You want St. Dipness.
I know.
So you can't go back with something like, listen, lads, electric cars is a thing. We can do this.
You'd be like Martin McFly.
Yeah, you know, you'd be like, lock him up. So you had to bring back something that you can say, here, did you ever see that before?
I bring back the chicken kormas from the Indian takeaways. Didn't have those in Bridgerton times.
Do you know what?
And they are delightful.
Do you know what? That's a great show.
That's what
That
I
is
bring.
a good show.
Bring back the air fryer.
Try that. Yeah. Because people would taste that and they'd be like, who is this blonde girl that's brought back this fucking taste sensation?
Yeah.
You'd be straight in.
I'd be like King of the Castle.
You're Prime Minister.
Yeah.
100%.
Whatever he does. Yeah.
No, the country would have failed from that point on.
When everyone is, I'm like waiting for everyone to wait on me hand and foot again.
What would you bring, Pop?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Probably wreck your car or something. I don't know. Like, look at your car.
You had cars.
Yeah, I know, but imagine that car back in them days.
Yeah.
Like, look at this.
He's a millionaire.
He doesn't have to change gears or not. It just does it itself.
Yeah. But here's the other thing. By you bringing back that car, you would manifest your future.
Yeah.
Because people are saying, he's fucking high powered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want him to be CEO of my company.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're CEO of fucking
And you're having a
Witherspoons.
brain in your head, like.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd probably bring back I'd bring back some utensil that's out now that it wasn't out back then.
What do you mean utensil?
Like a fork or?
Yeah. Say the humble spork.
The spork.
There was no sporks back then. Half spoon, half fork, right? So you go back with the template. See this spork? This guy makes fucking millions, right?
How many times have you used the pod?
We're going to go to every hotel, right? Breakfast buffet, spork, one and done, use it. Get the template, manufacture to the fuck, you'd be a millionaire within 3 months. Because everyone's going to buy it. It's spork, man.
The umbrellas in a cocktail.
Yeah. That's what I do. I bring back
spork.
Business savvy, do you know what I mean?
There you go now.
I got 40 points, but I have at least 3 good ideas.
How are you not a billionaire as it is?
Yeah.
Shannon, thanks so much.
That is a question and a half.
That was a brilliant question.
Yeah.
You're improving every week. You're getting better. You're now on 3. You're getting better every week.
He fails to give you some credit.
I'm only joking.
He gave himself credit though.
Yeah.
What
a question I just asked. And it's the voice to what a question. He gets horny over it every
Can
day.
you call that part where it made myself look really vain?
Carly Simon there beside me.
Yeah. Thanks very much. I look forward to it every week, Shannon. I really do. I look forward to it every single week. Thanks very much for the question. Again, lads, that was Shannon's show.
The best part, you don't even, not knowing. Like, if you prepare for the question, it's not the right answer.
Yeah.
It's deadly.
You don't know anything.
That was the curveball brought by Shannon and thanks very much to brew.ie for sponsoring this segment. That's brew.ie, BRE, 3Ws.ie. Craig Carney, look him up. He's the man.
He's the man.
Rumour is he's signing for pass next year, but anyway, look, we'll move on.
You wish.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for coming on.
Pleasure.
Really
enjoyed it. Good fun.
Really and the best of that.
That was
for
brilliant.
someone who's rubbish at golf, but mad about it. I just love hearing the insights. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I genuinely do. Look, you're a hard man to get, to be fair.
Not easy.
I want to wish
he's a busy man.
Yeah. I want to wish you continued success on the tour. And again, we really appreciate your time and best luck, everything going forward.
Pleasure.
And when you get on that bag for a major winner, don't forget us.
Yeah, no, I won't. I'll be back in to tell you all the lies and the blagging I did.
Just send us tickets.
No. He's a top man.
Anything for him, Pop?
Look, I spent a week with Harry. I knew Harry before that, but I got to really know him in America, and he made my dream come true. Even though I wouldn't have got through two of the Masters without Harry, because even though I want Harry's tickets, he was the connection between me and the tickets. So
No,
I never thought I'd get there in my whole life. I only found out probably a couple of weeks before Christmas. You were down in Tabo's place.
Yes,
we had a cup of coffee and a little sandwich. And
and we had to plan. Yeah,
we had to plan, and we all went from there. And I tell you, from going into the Sky Sports studio to see Rory Mickett winning the Masters,
unbelievable,
all because of that man there in front of us.
Doesn't get any better.
I really appreciate it.
For sure. No, pleasure. It was amazing. And look, for anyone that's into golf, you have to try and get there.
Yeah.
And there's ways to get there. I've often said it to lads, even fly over there on a wing and a prayer. Like, you can't get to the Masters if you're sitting on your hole at home. You know what I mean? But if you're willing to go over there and actually hang around the gates on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, the practice days, there's a good chance that you'll bump into someone or get lucky with someone leaving, and you're allowed 2 swipes on a ticket, so they might actually let you back in, even if you could get in there for 2 hours. To me, it's worth flying to America to go in and walk around that golf course for 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, I have the cup at home that have brought me. No one's allowed to touch it.
Oh, funny you should say that. I actually, Podge, I brought you something here now, because
I
know you're a man that likes a little beer or whatever. It's a little beer cooler for you. Now, there was 2 in the pack and I gave one of them away, but I saved one for you. But at least you can have you can enjoy your little beer there. There you go.
Like a Boy Scout getting his first badge of cleaning knot, aren't they?
Nice touch, isn't it?
There you go. You can think of Rory McIlroy now every time you're sitting down and having a beer at home.
Have that. Fantastic. Lads,
put that on your cricket bat now when you're...
You stop interrupting me, please.
Sorry, but Jesus Christ.
Come on, what are you going to say?
No, go ahead and fill up that.
Fuck me. Lads, this is brilliant. Thanks so much for support from everyone listening. All the feedback is greatly appreciated. Please, please, please like, follow and share the podcast. Someone out there might get a lift, a laugh, or just feel a little bit mad after listening to us. We appreciate the bollocks, OE. Thanks very much. Anyway, it's not my podcast.
Not my podcast.
It's Carlow Sports podcast. It's your podcast. Good luck and God bless till next week.
That's full time on this week's episode of the Howsy Podcast. Available on all podcasting platforms. Find us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter/X. Proudly sponsored by Amplify. Got a story to tell? A voice that needs to be heard? Get in touch with us here in Amplify, Carlow Town's professional home for podcasters of all kinds. We can be found on Instagram at Amplify Podcast Studio. Amplify, power up your podcast.